absolutely. Why? Oh, it's a little choppy. Let's take away Spotify, shall we?
Give it back to the people.
I don't know why I had Spotify open. Probably don't need sticky notes anymore. Do need that. Do need that. Probably don't need that. That. Do need that. Definitely don't need it. And let's see the onslaught of viewers, which don't come. We have 0. So
that's the joy of
we
being
can
a small
continue
Twitch
talking
streamer.
like idiots. Well, it'll take time for people to see the message.
There is 3 people currently. I mean, one of them is me, but
3.
One of them is me.
Okay, there's
The other one's
one
me.
person that isn't one of us.
Twitch
No, the other
stats
one's
aren't
me.
updated.
Oh.
Just refresh.
I don't remember how to do it quicker. It has a doc for it. Stats, maybe? Interesting. Wonderful. Hi, everyone. If you can hear us, tell us. If not, it's probably because you can't hear us, and I've done something wrong. Oh, yes, we have a yap. I should probably share my screen to you guys so that you can see things. Enjoy seeing my screen 1. You can see Football Manager I have on there.
Hey, they can hear us.
Yay.
Yeah, they can. I'll wait a couple more minutes because plenty of people.
I'm liking some of these names that I'm seeing.
Necrodile. That looks interesting.
No, it's a necrocodile.
Oh, I thought you
Nice.
meant Sid Meier's Civilization 6. I didn't think you were talking about the monsters that I accidentally showed.
I love me some Civ 6.
Well, you'll see them all in 5 minutes, but
Got some nice
I've
blood
got to keep
bowl
things
there.
somewhat secretive. Yeah. The game that Martinez hang in the middle. Oh yeah. Rats Instagib 2.0 was a game that my friend made me down play and still have on there for some reason.
No.
It feels
You
bad
guys,
not
I might grab some takeaway.
showing
Does
it to
anyone want anything?
the stream. I can do it. Oh wait, is there I don't want showing. Sorry.
D&DSoc plays Among Us.
Oh, of course, of course. That is actually going to be technically a thing, maybe. Were we saying that was a thing in week 9?
Hopefully. Hopefully. We still need to put the question of the day up to ask about what people want to play.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we totally can do Among Us.
Eventually, we'll ask. It would be chaos, but beautiful chaos.
I don't actually think it would be as bad as I was thinking it would be.
No, it wouldn't be beautiful. It depends how many people will show up.
Yeah, but I mean, who doesn't want to stare a committee member once in a while?
Agreed.
So how's everyone
Agreed.
doing?
I'm solid. I'm just loving Dom's desktop. I think my favourite part of it is who owes
I
me
mean, I'm
what.
the one that.
I mean, I'm just not enjoying how many bloody things you have on your desktop, and you don't even have a real background.
Who does
What's
owe me
Rat's Instagib
what?
2.0?
Where is it? Yeah, that's the thing that my friend told me to download so that we play it once. If you're watching this, and he definitely isn't. Hi, Ed. He told me to download it. I was like, let's play a game. Got 20 seconds in. I was like, this is absolutely torrid. Closed it. It's still there for some reason. But where's the people who owe me stuff thing?
It's next to
Can't
your
find it.
Avast, between
Oh,
Avast,
there.
RuneScape.
I'm going to not show this to the stream just in case there's actually anything. I think I can let people see this. Yeah.
Why is this?
Charlie.
How do you measure? What is your units on
It's
lemonade,
pound.
and how do you get 1.05 eggs?
£1, 5 pence for eggs. I hope.
It doesn't have units in money. I'm just thinking that that's the amount of each thing.
Dom's cutting corners.
Of a lemonade. Yeah. Oh no, that's definitely not supposed to be shown. Excel, why do you do this to me? It's fine. I think we should start. For some reason, my OBS keeps going red, even though I fully sorted out pretty much everything.
The fact 60p is so important to be logged in a spreadsheet.
It's constantly at 60 frames. The upload speed is the thing that's going a bit haywire. Either way, it is peak student finance. Okay, shall we? Let's go like that. And guys, I can show you all the monsters, the beautiful name. Oh, we've got 22 viewers now. Let's definitely start.
Let's go.
Let's show you the names of the monsters that we have today. Go in order. We have, like, you'll have absolutely no clue what any of this means until the monster is seen. Might as well say the names. Going up first. This is all in order of judging. We'll be having the Corinthal, then the Scourge Wing. Apologies for my pronunciations, especially with this one. The Hecking Chonkares and Quang. Then the Calcis Insectum. Yeah, you're already getting the ideas for that. The Crimson King, Galrath, the Iron Angel, Mirrorheart Rose, Arcadian Knight Errant, Net Crocodile, and the Polydrone.
I like the Polydrone
so
already.
how this is going to be
It's
working?
just a funny name. Wow.
I like the joke of
monogamy is the end of all of us. Bow.
How this is going to work is we have 3 beautiful judges with me today. I'm going to go in alphabetical order. We have Bryn. Say hi, Bryn. That was a great hello. Bryn is our ex-player and vice-player chair over the first 2 years of the society being a thing. We're very happy to have him back judging for this competition. Then we have Connor.
Hello.
Say hi, Connor. Okay, there. Yeah, Connor's. What do I say about you, Connor?
I don't know, Dom. Work harder. Describe me.
I see. He is good at the game. of D&D, and I go to him whenever I need help, because he will shout at me, but nicely, when I do the wrong things, where other people would shout at me, not nicely. Finn, we did say that Finn would be here. Unfortunately, he has personal matters to attend to. So we'll move on to Rowan, who
Hi,
you
I'm the-
all know Rowan.
Yes. So socials chair, very important.
Yeah, social stuff. Well, it will become more important for next week's event. If you didn't know, which you should always be checking the hashtag FAQ for our schedule. It's the games night. It's a nice chill thing. You get to meet more people, get to make more friends. Yep, the hashtag Blame Dom has already started. Thank you. It boosts my confidence oh so very much. But it's fine because for once, Matt's. I am giving someone dice. That's a good thing to talk about. Yeah, the winner of this competition, which will be judged through 3 categories: the design, the quality, and how well the monsters fit into the meta of D&D. They'll be winning some dice, as well as the rare but very prestigious role of choosing the next charity that will be donating to in the next charity game, which will be week 10 at some point. I can't remember what day we said it was. But, yes, the stream is working. So I've done something.
And the charity
right
game's
for
going to be
once.
on the Wednesday.
We've had
week 10.
absolutely no issues. Yeah, that's the one. It's okay, Kasparti. I will always allow you to simp for me by calling our society fucking awesome. This is not a Christian live stream. We will be swearing. Apologies if you don't like that. Anyway, shall we go on to the first monster?
Yes.
I think
You
we
finally
should.
have things to talk about.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm done plugging. Who's first? It's the Corinthal. Let's find it. With wrong thing there, going in there.
Ooh.
And then, oh, this isn't good. Studio mode. That's how I can do it. Or not. Maybe. That's how we can do it. Good. Yes. Maybe. Try. Are we seeing that on the stream? Yes. But also very small. So let's increase that size. Oh, maybe not like that. Oh, yeah, sure, you can throw me, Bryn. It's Bryn left.
I'm alive. I'm sorry. Hello.
They did. Oh, there we go. You're back.
Sorry.
I didn't even realise. It's okay.
I could
I'm
just leave.
not gonna
I
be
don't
checking
have to
my
come back, Dom.
messages, so it's a good thing that it comes up on my screen. I know, but that wouldn't be very, very. I don't know. Very, very cool. That's yeah. Anyway, let's try and make this bigger. Can people see that better? That's slightly better. We have a lot of lore for some archdragons. What our contestant has said about that, if I can find it, is that basically they always found it a little grating that dragons are kind of pushed towards alignment and what role they play in a world based on their color, chromatic or metallic, and they're not that really big on hard alignment restriction. They were looking through some old and less well-known D&D gods and pantheon. They found, is that Ea or Lo? And Askarath. Yeah, I thought it was right. And then they got the idea for archdragons, dragons that could be a fusion of opposing types of chromatics and metallics, so they can be a bit more balanced. It didn't really make much sense to have such powerful creatures be free and plentiful. So it would only make sense for one or two to be alive. And they rambled, but yeah, that's pretty much the stuff. They've got an absolute ton of lore. I don't think we'll read through all of it as a point, but in general, I think as long as the contestants approve of it, we'll be releasing all of the monsters onto some form of probably the homebrew channel in the Discord. Obviously, we'll be asking them first. So you can take a look in your own time. Oh, I did forget about one thing. There will be a straw poll eventually. I'll do it after the stream because it feels a bit bad doing it midway through, so you can just click something once and not see all the rest of them. But yeah, we'll that's for the public vote. You get to have your say. What's your favorite monster out of all the ones that we've seen? Anyway, let's scroll down a little to the current poll, which are big. I don't quite know how to do this in terms of.
Are we allowed to swear, Dom?
We're allowed to swear.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Every sentence is going to contain a swear from Bryn now.
Yeah. I used to go on the radio every now and again. They wouldn't let me swear, and it's just like a nightmare.
He's been set free.
I've been set free. Fuck yeah.
Fear his curses.
Watch Yusu come at my ass now.
Don't say it like that.
Hold on to the stat box first.
Stat block.
Which says, in case you're not able to read it quite properly on the stream, they're making it to a challenge rating. Fine.
That has to be an error.
That has to be an error.
I
think they dropped to 0 after that.
I mean,
well,
I can see them dropping I can see it being a 25.
Yeah, a 17th level spellcaster with the CR rating of 5 is a bit mental.
Yeah.
And 600 HP.
Well, I'm going to assume that's meant to be 15. At least, like minimum. Well, it's 2097 XP. What's the XP rate?
It's supposed to be alongside the dragons, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, like ancient dragons are around the 22s.
Not word.
So like ancient reds are 24. So 25 makes sense to me.
2000 XP normally means normally means like CR 5 or 6. So very strange. I think if you were a level 5 character, you would die immediately fighting this creature.
Yeah.
So let's just assume that's a mistake. I'd argue.
Yeah, because I mean, just looking at the breath weapon,
I'd definitely think so.
That's
28 d6.
Yeah, that's more damage than a red is doing with its fire breath.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be 25.
So yeah, this has to be 25.
Yeah, let's say this is a 25 challenge rating.
Yeah. Or we could just say it's 5.
If it's 5, it's getting 0 on the meta.
It's clearly what they wanted.
I know some level 5 parties that really deserve to have them dropped on them.
That's evil, bro.
Way. They are able to do some spell casting. That lovely.
That's some fun things. I like when big monsters are smart enough to do magic.
Let's go like that.
Yeah.
What's its spellcasting ability? Intelligence.
Definitely.
Ah.
Yeah. Save DC 21.
which I think a level 5 would rarely hit at all.
Yeah, like you need proficiency.
Yeah.
And even then, it's going to be
More
about
fails than passes.
20% saves
Mm.
for those with proficiency. I really like this spell list. It's very thematic. Obviously, just scanning over the lore earlier, I really like this spell list being that sort of, it's very ice focus.
Yeah, it's very consistent thematically, which is always good.
I'll say that this feels like an expansion on what Dragonkin are. I don't know, like the original thing was like doing it by color, but I think this is just kind of like a necrotic one. I mean, there's already the undead dragon, the skeleton one that I can't remember the name of, which I once fought as a level 5 druid, and we died.
Yeah, Draco Lich will do that to you.
Draco Lich should fuck us up. We were way too low level to do it, but it was the DM's first time. We were like, let's just go with it. But Draco Lich isn't like an incredibly intelligent being to my memory, which is, I think, what kind of this improves upon.
Yeah.
Also, Horrid Wilting is a great 8th level spell. I just love that spell so much.
Yeah.
I'll move it up a bit onto the second page of lore right here.
Yeah.
Whilst I try and get your guys' feelings for some scorings. So just a reminder, in case you've come in late, there are 3 categories for the scoring: design, quality, and meta. Shall we start with meta, considering we've got the lore stuff up now? We've just gone over the meta.
Yeah, sure. I can start
Let's just
with.
do it alphabetically to start.
I'm going to choose to ignore the level 5 challenge rating for meta. Because I'm going to assume that's a 25, and 25 seems about right. I believe that this thing is not as powerful as I'm trying to remember what the challenge rating for Tarask is.
It's 30.
30. I would argue that this thing is not as strong as a Tarask. But it's stronger than a like classic silver or blue dragon. Or even I'd say it's like a little bit stronger than a red dragon due to its like ancient red dragon. I mean, due to its kind of breath weapon being a little bit stronger, and its abilities just kind of being more intelligent. I guess that's the best way to say it. So I think that's probably better. So I would say that if we're assuming it's a 25, I would give this out of 10 on the meta I'll say a 6.
Yeah, I think I agree on the scoring for the meta there.
Let's keep on the meta.
I think personally I might have to go a bit lower than 6. So it's definitely got that strength, just looking over it. There is a CR25 dragon in the game from Stormking's Thunder. That is only a 14th level caster. And it's doing less damage with its sort of breath weapon. So I think 25 is lowballing it a little bit. I'd probably push this up like at least to 26. Then we have Niv Mizzet from Ravnica. That's a 26 dragon. Plus, I mean, obviously dragons fly, all these movement speeds. I mean, it's basically doing whatever it wants. You're not holding this down. A second breath weapon as well, if it doesn't need damage, just to get rid of things.
I think that's why I'm putting it at a 6, because I do believe that, again, if we're assuming this is 25, a level 20 party could fight this thing and it would be a good fight.
Yeah. I just feel 25 is slightly under. Like I would say more 26, 27. Like I'm still going to give it a 5 on the meta. It's definitely in the right ballpark. I just feel they've undervalued some of these abilities. Like the spells aren't the
Fairly
strongest.
unique for what we're guessing.
Like time stop. Like it's not a useful spell, especially for dragon. Because it stops when you deal damage.
Time stop could really do some serious damage.
You can't really set things up as a dragon is the thing.
I mean, with the spells that they have, they kind of can.
I guess if you force cage someone during it, but...
Force cage, create undead. Even things like as low level as like sleep would be a great thing to set up.
Yeah, I mean, you're not casting sleep on a 20th level party, though.
I mean, after you've done some damage.
Yeah.
And if they have any minions they bring along with them. Everyone loves their favorite NPC with 20 hit points.
True.
Or dogs. You can kill a dog with sleep.
DC's 22.
Anyway.
Yeah, I'd go for a 5 on the meta.
Okay. Let's bring this along to the design of the monster. Just how creative it is, if it's thought provoking at all. You know, is it unique in what it's doing?
I really like the design. I think the design is really good. I think it's really thematic. I like the lore that they've built around it. I haven't had a chance to look through it in depth, but it does look like it hits on all the key details that you'd be interested in if you had just stumbled on this monster. And I think that this is, with the amount that it's been built out, it would be wonderful to dump in a campaign, and it would be the sort of NPC you would want to interact with, not just stab in the face, but you'd want to know about them.
This feels like it could be a BBEG quite easily.
And the lore reflects that as well. Yeah.
I would say that whilst I do enjoy the lore, and I do think it definitely propels it forward in my mind, it doesn't feel too different from a classic dragon. I think that's just kind of the traps that people fall into when they make dragons. It doesn't feel like it's moved past being a dragon, even though it's really cool. I think that it could pretty much be like just another dragon, but it's put itself forward with, firstly, like the lore behind it definitely does hit, but the again, I think I just kind of have this thing with dragons. It's just like dragons, I can't really picture them being more than dragons.
I think there's an implication that with this creature that it isn't going to behave in the general stereotypical dragony sense. Which I mean, like.
Time stop alone is obviously going to push that forward.
Yeah.
But I was thinking of giving it a 6.5 for this one.
I was just going to say 6 on this.
Yeah, I think I'm going to agree with you, Rowan, on a 6. Obviously, it's tough being the first one. You don't know what the rest of the pack's like.
Yeah, I'm also going to pop it down to a 6 then, because I didn't know we went. I feel I do agree with more of a 6, yeah.
Yeah, like it at least it captures what it wants to capture.
Yeah.
The stat block reflects that. The lore's good. Like the quality is going to be great.
Well, shall we move on to that then?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's very high quality, the way that this has been produced.
Quote.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it could be from the manual.
I've put that as an 8.
Absolutely.
I was going to say a 7.
I was going to go for 8.
I don't know if any of them have like drawings that have gone along with it. I just think that I'm going to save my 8s and 9s for like proper, if anyone's done any like pieces of art for their pieces, but it looks like a proper D&D thing taken out of a book.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying not to judge people on not having done drawings because
I can't draw. I can't fucking draw.
No.
So like, I'm not going to judge people not having them. But you know, if someone has gone the extra mile and actually drawn it, I feel like for me that's going to propel it forward, and that's just I feel like that's the vibe.
Yeah. But the other thing with this one is I can imagine what it would look like quite easily. Obviously, there's the classic dragony thing, but you get that vision of like semi-translucent scales. So it doesn't, with the description around it, you don't actually necessarily need the drawing, which is quite important for monsters where you don't know exactly what they look like.
Yeah, it's well described, which is probably why I've given it a 7.
Yeah, I think if a DM was to drop this in a campaign, you could go, oh, this is a necrotic, this is a cold kind of dragon.
Yeah.
Mm.
And that the first score of our stream of all the monsters. I think we'll leave it at that. Again, if the creators would like this to go public, then we'll, I think it's probably best if we do actually make them go public, as long as they don't have the people's names on, so that you can see for the public vote what it is. But that puts current goal at 58, and we'll see go along. But let's go on. Scourged.
Scourged wing.
I hate English sometimes.
Scourge wing.
The scourge. Let me make sure I have all. I believe so. Okay, let's start with.
Ooh.
Okay, plop that on. Can that be seen?
That is very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I like that they have the little person for scale.
Jeez Louise. Fuck it out. Look at how small they are. Didn't even spot them. Dom, can I ask you to zoom in on the actual stat block?
Inky smog
in a bit.
in its wake. Did people hear the voice? Because it felt really quiet on my end.
Which voice? My voice? Your voice?
I think you disconnected temporarily, Dom, because it put one of those Dom is now the host again things.
Oh no. Well, okay then.
You'll just have to do it again.
I'll do it again. I'll do it again anyway. It descended from the storm, black as pitch. It swooped down on my people, leaving only an inky smog in its wake. No one said anything, so I'll assume that they heard it this time.
Yeah, we did hear it.
But this is the scourge wing. Oh, wonderful.
Can we see the stat block?
Yeah, can you zoom in on the stat block?
Absolutely, you can. I've got a whole other. Oh no!
Nice.
I wasn't supposed to show that. There we go. Yeah, double it.
Ooh, that's interesting. Normally, if they do something
shall
like
I zoom in on
it's
that?
the other way around.
I like this.
Can you guys see that all right? Or shall I zoom? I think that's probably a bit bad for the stream, so we'll go half and
zoom it and then kind of go through it. I think that's better for me at least. Blind.
Yeah.
So it's a 50-foot walk speed and a fly speed of 120.
That's quick.
Yeah. I mean, level 18 characters could probably escape it, but
yeah.
When I have a question for like the other judges, because this is kind of my thing as a DM. When you guys get challenge ratings, how do you guys judge like what it is? Because for me, I normally sway it up as 4 characters of this level will have like a moderate challenge fighting this.
I think that's a good judge for low CR. But when it actually gets to higher levels,
that's the official rating for it.
Is it? Okay.
That's the official way it's treated. But I find if it gets to a CR above 5, it starts to get a bit funky.
I'm personally all about knowing the players. If it's for a one shot, I'll assume that. If it's not, then I'll know everything about my players enough to say what's challenging for them or not, and hope they don't die.
I'm always on the end of giving them something a bit too strong that you can then just knock a bit of health off, because it's always a bit depressing when your big bad gets one-shotted.
Oh, Southpaw Cobalt has said it was quiet. Would you like me to raise the general volume? Or was it just me being quiet with the reading of the
general
stuffs?
volume in the streets. I will argue that I think that this is missing legendary actions.
Yeah.
Not everything needs legendary actions, but with something this huge, a lack of legendary actions can really hinder a monster you're fighting with.
I find that often legendary actions are a bit overused, or legendary resistance at least. But this is one that I think would definitely benefit from it.
I do, yeah. As I said, it's like I don't think everything needs legendary actions, even at higher CRs. But sometimes, like this, I think legendary actions are made because you're most likely fighting this thing one-on-one. If that makes sense, that's normally where like legendary actions I find are used the most. It's not like a group of creatures. To give like that creature a leg up over being a singular target.
Yeah, they exist to balance the action economy.
Yeah,
back towards the monster side.
Which, when a creature is this huge, I don't think like a couple goblins being thrown in there will really do any differences.
No.
But even just some smaller creatures that would go along with this thing would really, I don't think it would change too much. I actually, so while it's got some solid claw and bite attacks, I think that, and the maddening presence is really good as well. I love a good maddening type presence. The lack in kind of variety in what the creature can do may prove a bit easy for the party at level 18. Like, I feel like by the time you're getting to 5th or 6th round, you're going to start struggling to make something new. Whereas if you look at, what's another CR18 creature that I can... I've got a list of challenge ratings right next to me. The Demi-Lich is outside its lair, is a CR18. And I'm going to get stat block up one sec. It's got so much it can do that like you'll find yourself completely, like you'll find yourself in the 8th round and suddenly it pulls something else out of its arse. And you're like, oh my God, this is so... And that's kind of what makes the fight against this quite simple looking creature. It's tiny, this creature as well. It's quite simple looking creature, quite difficult to fight. And something of this size and magnitude that actually looks epic as hell is sorely lacking in unique things it can do.
Yeah. And by the time you're fighting this, everybody should have magical attacks. So the damage immunity isn't going to mean much.
I would say, like, I think it could use more immunities as well. Like some necrotic could always be good. It's, you know, it doesn't like sunlight. So maybe it likes the cold. So even a resistance to cold might help it.
Yeah. Because otherwise, I mean, it does make it easier as the DM to calculate stuff, but it doesn't provide much variety. You're probably not even going to notice as a player that it has immunity to non-magical.
So while I actually have loved the design and the quality of this one, I think the meta is like quite lacking actually, especially with, I've just noticed this, the saving throws. This is such a peeve of mine where they have given the creature a +8, a +5, and a +6 in them, but its saving throws preferences are higher in its intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. It's almost like you're turning around and being like, I think it's a little bit of a cop-out to protect your creature you've made. Where if it's a dumb creature, let it be a dumb creature. And that's one of its weaknesses. Because like, whilst it doesn't have like some incredibly advanced strengths here, it also doesn't really have some key weaknesses, which is something I think is important, especially in really high CR monsters.
Yeah, and I'm thinking with the claw attack, I really like the maddening presence. I think that's really cool. But the claw attack where it's a no save grapple. and they have to use their action on the next turn to get out, which I do see sometimes. But it's not just grappled, it's restrained. So it's actually can't do anything, and having it have the opportunity with a plus 14. So even if you have a high AC, it's more likely to get you than not. Reach 20 feet, so you can't get it. It's going to be a bit more frustrating than entertaining, I think, for players.
I think,
and then taking out battle.
Combat's going to be a bit samey.
Like,
but again,
you can also do it twice because it has 2 hands.
The way to run this monster to absolutely destroy your party is just to claw something and then use that 120 fly speed. And like just go up.
But by the time you're getting to like high level combat, like level 18 and such like that, it's quite unlikely that characters are going to be unable to fly.
True. And I mean, I suppose any monk will be like, sucks for you, Mr. Monster Man. But it is going to make your frontliners feel really disadvantaged in that battle.
And as a DM, like you're going to want to try and set it up so that your party has to like lure this thing out to fight in the day. Because if you're fighting this at night, you're just going to get screwed because of the gloom thing.
That's something I put for my. Something that raised it in my design ideally, because I like the fact that it has that key like classic. It doesn't like the daytime type thing. So obviously during the day you're going to try and hunt it down, but then I think it could have something cool where it like it's daytime, but it's got you could make up a spell even, or like make up an ability that like it projects so much darkness that it feels like nighttime anyway.
Yeah.
I
do like the gloom skill.
It said that this is like Angel of Eldritch Beings or something. So like I can see it not as a BBG, but like a penultimate fight.
Kind of like someone's commissioned this thing, like a big baddie has like been like, look, I'll give you 10 quid. Can you go kill these guys?
This is like the vanguard to these greater creatures breaking through.
Well, if that's the case, shall we talk about the meta scores? Absolutely. Absolutely.
Do you want to talk about meta first?
Let's give the meta scores, shall we?
Sure. I've got mine. This is the lowest score I've given the 3 categories. I've given it a 5 out of 10. Because I feel like there's a lot of things that need to be reworked for it to be a genuine challenge. But I think it's on its way. I think it definitely just needs work, and it will be on its way.
I feel really mean, but I've given it a 3 in the meta. Just there's quite a few things I think would stop me from wanting to put this against any party, really, unless I was really pissed at that party and wanted them to have a bad session. Which I do know a party that I might be throwing this at, but that's not really the right intention to go into a game with.
I'm gonna go in the middle of you two. I'm gonna go with a 4. Like Bryn said, it's lacking quite a lot. Like a legendary action or 2 would be great fit, but at the same time it's very swingy. That claw attack is very strong, not just in the damage in its effect. The Madding Presence is if you fail, 75% chance to do fuck all on your turn. Gloom fucks over melee people immediately. So I'm gonna go with a 4. Like with some tuning of the numbers, it could be good, but right now I don't see it sort of in its challenge rating bracket. And if it wins initiative, it has a great time. If it loses initiative, you can just start blowing it up.
But I can definitely talk about the design of
Back
this.
to the.
I really love the design. I like the surrounding ideals of it. I like it didn't have to give us a lot of lore for it to be obvious what this thing is. This thing is, it's got low intelligence. It feels almost mindless, of just like a monster that just destroys wherever it goes, similar to a Tarrasque, even though Tarrasque is...
As a note on that, it is larger than a Tarrasque based on this scale that they've given us.
Yeah. It's a really big boy.
it should feel larger than the Tarask then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That should be reflected in its stats.
No, I quite like the design. I like the thematics again.
Yeah.
I think the gloom ability is a really cool thematic ability. And it would be if your party, it feels like the sort of thing where you'd have to have your party attack them twice. They try and get it at night. They activate their one collective brain cell and realize that they can't take it at night, have to come back the next day. And having to make your party think, I always really like.
Yeah. Having to fight a creature twice in any campaign is a dream. I want to say I love the art so much.
Yeah, it is so cool.
It looks fucking cool. It's brilliant. It almost looks like it looks like a mix of something that could be above ground, yes, but it also looks like something that could be underwater, just kind of like from like the ink splodges coming out of his back. You know what I mean? And the way they kind of like bubble out, but then the smoke also, it's fucking cool.
It kind of has those Bendy in the Ink Machines vibes.
Yeah. Oh, great reference. Good job.
With that being said,
like I can see what our design and quality in the sunlight, with all that smog like burnt away by the sunlight, and it's like, yes, you can see that this is visibly weaker now.
Has anyone read the Demon Slayer manga?
Nope.
No.
I'm not going to spoil the Demon Slayer manga then.
Like a bit about the start.
Well, basically, one of the big things of that is demons die as soon as they touch the sunlight. So one of the final fights, the whole point of it is they're just trying to they can't defeat it, so they just try and keep fighting till the daytime, and it's sick. And I think that's a really cool way to keep this. If you like go at like just before the sun rises to try and fight it, that would be a cool mix of battle. All hope seems lost, and you see the sun rising.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk scores. Shall we start with the design?
I've given it a 7.
I've also given it a 7. Yeah.
Yeah, I really like the way it feels, and obviously that picture is amazing. So I really like it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with 7 as well. Like it's got good strengths. It's just the stat block doesn't reflect it as well.
And its quality.
I've gone with an 8.5 for the quality of this because I just love
personalizing.
Love a 0.5. I like it a lot.
Should I make it out of 20, Bryn? Should I make it out of 20?
You'll still do 0.5.
You will.
Okay, I've gone with a 6 for quality.
Okay.
I like the quality a lot. I like the drawing. I like the way this feels like an info sheet.
Yeah, I think that's why I'm going with a 7 for quality here.
And no one's going to stop me with my 0.5s.
That puts the Scourge Wing. I still can't say it right, but it puts the Scout. It's on 54.5, so it hasn't been able to overtake the Corinthal. But I'm fairly sure by the end of the night that'll be a respectable score. Now it's time for our next monster. I have read this one because I was told there was a story, and I should read out the story. They didn't tell me whether to do a voice or not for it. However, I think it's best if I do. Let's go like that. Zoom on in. The Heckenchonkaris is a pack-based animal that has friends. Yes, has many pack members' friends. Friends is the unit it travels with, like you, friend. Thank you, that's very sweet. The Heckenchonkaris stands around 2 feet tall on its hind legs, with a weight of about 24 pounds. No, 10 weight, rude. sorry. It has a protective, dense fur coat, I believe. Yes, which is very fluffy. It has keen senses of smell and hearing, I detect. Very well. I hear, yes, I am good boy. Indeed you are. The Heckin Chonkaras are very closely related to dogs, but due to constant magic exposure, my paws is many. They developed a surplus of limbs. As to how well this has assisted or caused detriment to their mobility, I possibly assume. Yes, you certainly run a lot. Ouch. Are you alright? I stumbled, bumbled, I fell, but I big boy. Does the big boy need a huggy?
Oh my
yes,
god.
please. Alricia put down the audio crystal and tucked the Heckin Chonkaras up in her arms. His name was Ambrosius, but Tamble had become his nickname. He was whimpering softly, licking his sixth paw of 10. He bruised it slightly by falling over when running. Oh well, it wasn't his fault. His father, and many wizards before them had kept their animals too close to the thaumaturgical furnace. The poor pets developed some strange mutations from their many limbs. Tamble had to the terrifying duck-goose hybrid, Quonk, who guarded the door from all big threats, whether they're big, small, or non-existent. Alricia decided for dinner she would make a meal the Tamble would enjoy immensely. Lightly charmed steak. He had been a good boy all the way through the various sketches she'd made, and it wasn't his fault he could speak common and thus interrupt the audio log. Besides, the 6'7" 250-pound behemoth bird at the door never really had a preference for specific foodstuffs. It would eat anything, and as such wouldn't mind the steak flavouring. It wasn't that Quonk was mean-spirited. Quonk could be very sweet when it wanted to be, but Quonk hated trespassers, strangers, visiting friends, and despised door-to-door salesmen. Very territorial, that duck-goose thing. All right. Alricia thought aloud, settling back into her chair and resetting the audio crystal. Time to polish this off. She depressed one of the spindles, sending a thermic resonance into the crystal. It made an obnoxious beep and was ready to record. The Heckin Chonkaras has a very friendly disposal. Yes, hello. Oh, God. So here we have... Thanks, mysterious person, for that story. I'm out of breath. Here we have the Heckin Chonkaras, who is a small beast, very chaotic, good boy. Here we go.
Oh my god, it has a drawing.
That's gorgeous.
It does have a drawing.
I love it.
Those 10 feet clearly visible. And let's go down to the Quonk next. That is terrifying.
That's terrifying.
That
Jesus, absolute fucking Christ.
Terrifying.
So is this two separate entries or a single entry?
This is a single entry.
Okay. All right.
Nice.
Let's start with the Heckin Chonkaras, which is absolutely awful to say. Let's start with that. It's adorable, but I couldn't get it out of my head.
Sorry, it's bad for. It's never good for streaming if you're just reading.
Yeah.
Okay.
I shouldn't have taken a
words,
bit of...
Well,
yeah,
this is very cute.
I think I should read out Bork. Bork.
Bork.
The stare of infant canines. The user produces a facial expression so adorable it causes most mortals to fall to their knees in emotional overload.
I think this is way more powerful than a quarter challenge.
Yeah.
If you, because in my mind, quarter challenge ratings are designed for groups, so there's 3 or 4 of them or something like that. If you threw 3 or 4 of these at a level 3 party or something, or even like a level 1 party, even worse, it would fucking kill them.
Yeah. Absolutely. And also the
would
balk ability.
infer that a level 1 would be able to take it out.
Yeah, a level 1 would not, like a level 1 party of 4 would not be able to kill this thing.
If you put this against the Tarask, if it used its balk ability, the Tarask could be forced to retreat.
Yeah, the fact there's no save, it's only just a roll. I mean, like, this can't be serious. It's so rude to say. This is fun. This is cute. But if I'm taking it from a very serious meta perspective, I would never in my life put this in my game.
No, it's very flavorful.
Very flavorful.
But I mean, I'm probably gonna be docking at points on quality as well.
Yeah. It's fun. It's fun. It's not
fun.
It's like it sounds so, because I'm really scared that someone's entered this really seriously as a genuine, like, this is one of the best monsters you have to put in your game. And if you have done that,
I know for a fact that they haven't.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
This is the flaws and
they've entered 2.
Yeah. The second creature I'm gonna let me think about separately. Yeah.
I already don't like the fact that it's wearing
the challenge
armor.
rating makes slightly more sense.
I would say it's a little bit high. This thing seems a lot easier. Yeah, this thing could be taken out by a level 4 character in one hit. With like a second level spell that like they happen to get a nat 20 on, or 2 or 3 turns.
I mean, once again, there's a bunch of these abilities that aren't like tied, that seem to just be free actions.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of these I think are in the wrong sections.
Yeah.
Flap is incredibly disadvantage to target for the rest of the combat. And it's not even a check.
No.
Yeah. Like, it'll happily use action to do that. It's disadvantage to what? Just everything?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything.
That's
Sounds
a bit
like
of
everything
a
to me.
game breaker.
Got to read it as it is. That puts the challenge rating up at like 25 going on to dragons.
Yeah, once again, if you brought this as an ally with you against a Tarask, it could give a Tarask permanent disadvantage.
Yeah.
I'd love that. Like that's quote unquote balanced out by the 9 AC.
I've got my result.
We can start with the meta.
Yeah. Giving it a 1.
Yeah.
I just couldn't.
Can I go lower than a 1, Dom?
I can't go lower than a 1 because it's a thing they've written. No, I can't go lower than a 1 because they've written it out. That's my minimum thing. There are abilities and there has been some thought into it. But
there are stats.
It is. I'm gonna go full Gordon Ramsay here. This is a fucking nightmare, and it's just such a mix of overpowered, underpowered, useless, too useful, annoying. The thing is, like, it's very funny, but then you actually put it into a genuine combat where people are trying to live, and it suddenly becomes a problem.
The one thing I think where this would be good would be if these were player characters and it was a one-shot designed for it.
Yeah. Like one of you is the Conk, one of you is the Heckenchonker.
That's not even D&D anymore. That's a new like tabletop system. Of just, like,
that's like
Connagh. They say that the Quank could talk. Can the Quank talk? I know that the
Heckenchonkers can talk. I think the Quank is like the bird thing from Up.
Yeah, it does just feel like they've done Up, but in a horrifying fantasy setting. And this is almost on to...
That makes sense.
It took him until now.
Common and dog.
Yeah, this is the eldritch version of Up. All we need is a tubby child to come feed them chocolate and tame them somehow.
But if I can give a 0 for the meta...
Am I assuming that you're giving it a 0 there, Connor?
I am, yeah.
You can give a 0.
I'm giving it a 1. I do love the thought it's gone into
this is why the
I'm sorry, chat.
This is why I said that 54.5 would be a respectable score at the end. I think they knew this one wasn't going to go too well. That's why they have a second one. I won't say what it is. Shall we talk about the design and the quality of it, though?
Yeah, I'm gonna put the design at 4 out of 10 because it's fun, but it's also kind of like it's just fun. That's the only reason. Like, it's not like it's not. I don't think it's D&D related, which is why it's like I don't think it's unique enough to the like. It doesn't feel like it builds upon a world. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like this could just be sci-fi characters or like aliens.
I've given it a 5.
Quirky future.
Well, I mean, from the story, it's had a bit of liturgy being too close to that, but I get what you're saying.
I think like if I compare it to the last one, which I gave a 7 to, I don't think they're in the same ballpark.
That's true. Actually, yeah, I think mine's a 4. Actually, I agree with everything that's been said. I like the idea of it as a jokey thing, but it still doesn't quite reach it with the joke.
Yeah, I've got to agree. 4 from me as well. Like, they're clearly some mutant creatures.
I think that it's very possible to make a funny monster that works.
Yeah.
Like, and it should be fun to fight because it's so much like it's so dumb. If you look at one of my favorite D&D podcasts, Rude Tales of Magic, they don't care too much about meta and stat blocks. They, as the DM has gone on record as saying, it's like Looney Tunes rules. If it's funny, it works.
Yeah.
But even then, like this would still feel annoying in that world, that it doesn't really hit on the rules very heavily.
Hey, what about its quality?
I've said 4 again.
That adorableness.
I've gone for a 3, which I think all the points are for the artwork and the story. But the stat books are a pain to read.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat as Rowan. All of my points are from the art and the story.
I think that's why I've given it a 4. The art and story.
The stat blocks drag it down too much for me.
Yeah.
I mean, even just the fact that they're wearing armor from stat blocks.
Yeah, some things that should definitely be actions are in their skills, and it's doing my head in.
Okay, if that's the case, we have our defeating this, everyone. 24 is the final score for that. Apologies later, but you already knew it. I've spoken with them about it. Fortunately, and somehow, like this was completely unplanned. Theirs happens to be 3rd and 4th, so in comes Kelsey's Insectum.
How many pages was that?
How long is this?
There.
Oh Christ! Fuck.
Oh my, me, oh
wow.
my.
This is a lot of work.
I feel like I would have loved to have read this
of investigation regarding
so
machine
we can't read this whole thing.
Treatise of the Hive Component Group. Read it all. Words by Stefan's Mate. Illustration by Gobbo, Silver Swiper. Okay, I'm absolutely not going to read through all of this. However, I will zoom in and slowly
at some
scroll
point.
down. So you guys can pause it.
I'm definitely reading that on my off time. That looks awesome.
But I will have to get everyone's permission first. Yeah. But
20 pages.
Like when we did it for PokerSoc, we released all of them because it's a lot. It's a lot of lore. So I think we have multiple different monsters in night. Oh, we have our first one. I'll zoom out very slightly. Can you guys see that? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Construct
Slight-
insect. So just a
Yeah,
just
there
a
we go.
construct then, right? Is it a construct or insect?
Yeah, and it has to just be a
Cyborg?
construct. I mean,
I think-
it depends. I don't think we've read the law fully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is supposed to be. It says it's the Metal Gear Spider.
I also think I see where the work went into.
Oi! He's stolen my campaign name. Sorry, they wrote this way before I came up with Clockwork, so I guess I stole it from him. And I'm not supposed to be revealing the. It's a male entrant. I know them. It's fine. You can know the gender. It's fine.
No,
I
hate it,
believe
'cause I
it's
hate men.
probably
Yeah,
a
docking them points just for that
insect
fact.
that has.
Right, should we talk about the first?
But yeah, it would have to.
We have
be
to. We
one
have
of
to
them.
talk about them as they come up. Particularly the meta. I think there's just. It might be best if we just talk about meta as each stat block comes up.
Yeah.
So I like this. I think that a 8th level creature having any form of damage immunities is crazy.
They are constructs, though, is the thing.
They are constructs.
Yeah.
That is true.
So, like, it's a requirement.
Resistances, I agree with you. But like, an immunity is a huge thing because someone could pop off a spell, and when you have so few spells at such a low level, it's such a hindrance to a spellcaster, particularly. They're the only people who can really cast necrotic damage with low levels.
Yeah,
Actually, if they're
necrotic's
going
not
for
one
the
of the common
construct
types, though.
angle, then necrotic doesn't quite make sense. More so, poison would be the sort of thing.
Poison is
think
the
they would-
general one that they're immune to.
Poison, I'd say resistance, and also psychic because they don't seem like they have minds. Acid and cold, however, don't make loads of sense to me.
No.
I think other than the resistances and immunities, I think it's otherwise. It does make sense for the level they've put it at. And I quite like its abilities. It does seem like it would be interesting to have on the battlefield.
Completely agree. I think there isn't a lot of point in having a vulnerability when you have 5 hit points.
Yeah.
You know,
It has a nice flavor.
I think they just scrap.
It's a nice bit of flavor, yeah. And actually, depending on what the rest of it is, it could be really good setup for later.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I do have to disagree
if it was just this as a creature, I feel like this is I want to see the rest of them for sure.
Yeah, I do have to disagree with you both on the condition immunities thing, because that is a general property of constructs, and like most of the 1/8 challenge rating constructs in the game have those condition immunities.
I'm not saying condition immunities. I'm saying damage immunities.
Oh yeah, the condition immunities I'd absolutely keep.
Yeah, I'd keep the.
They also have poison and psychic immunities, so like
yeah,
damage
poison and
immunities
psychic does make sense.
The necrotic doesn't for me though.
Yeah, yeah.
I do like that it has a vulnerability as well. I mean, as you guys said,
that could be set up for later.
Coming up later, then it's a really good thing to have. You have this really basic enemy, and you can figure out what works on it, and then you come up to it later. And given that they have 20 pages, I expect that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Also, the ability to burrow at such a low level is really gonna get you going where you want to go.
Yeah, like a ton of these just burrowed, and then I mean they've got tremor sense, so
you can get out of there.
An
You know what I
ambush
mean?
monster.
But you could completely disappear, and like some of them could disappear, and their intelligence is 10, so they are capable of like communicate, or they can't speak any languages.
Yeah, it's a very high intelligence for
It's very high intelligence for something that can't speak a language or understand a language.
And for something that has resistance to psychic, which generally implies a lack of brain.
Anyway, that's
the next block.
We've got a little picture.
Nice bit of art.
That's adorable.
Hell yeah.
Oh, I want
it's
it.
adorable until it's biting your face off.
That is
But I'll still take it biting my face off. It looks great.
You're quite right, Cobalt. They said, I think I see where their work went into.
Yeah, just a little bit of an inkling.
Just a little, yeah. That is the Arachnite. Then we have the Gearwig. Again, I'll slowly scroll through this. If you want to pause it and take a look, then you can.
Gearwig is a nice play on
words. Let's actually take a look at the picture first.
Oh, that's so cute. That is adorable.
Are you guys, when you guys are judging pieces of art for the things, are you saying it on quality?
I'm looking at what they've decided was important in the artwork.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm less judging on the quality of the art itself.
No. Where when you talk about artwork, it goes into quality, doesn't it? That's what you guys are judging.
Oh yeah. That's the official way it's done.
Yeah. Not like the quality of the artwork. Like what? Yeah, it's
voting.
I'm not an artist. I'm not here to judge how good or bad the art is. Just what it means.
Definitely. So here we have. Looks like these are all going to be some construct insects.
Yeah.
Which should be called constructs, but
all of that.
It automatically succeeds on any strength check that requires lifting or moving an object.
That's
any
really
strength check?
It's lifting or moving.
So again, put it against a Tarrasque. It can lift a Tarrasque.
It can lift up the crab apparatus.
Yeah.
It can lift up a castle if it was enough, but cohesive enough.
Weird, because obviously in the rules, it can't lift a certain amount of, like, above a certain weight because of its strength. But
and its size.
I like the flavor.
I'm curious if
it's supposed to be something that picks a lot of things up.
Yeah, it's a good ability.
Like automatically succeeding on a strength check would that not mean that they are able to do the maximum possible for that roll for that creature?
The point is, there's no role for lifting things.
Yeah.
Like it's a DM's discretion.
Success.
Like if you want to lift more than your carrying capacity, technically you shouldn't be able to. But a DM can go, all right, strength check, and then you'll move at slower speed.
Like it would be cool if this thing had more of a role associated with it. Like it could try and lift something very heavy up. But when it's a small creature like it is, it's like realistically, it's like if, because I know it's based on insects, but ants in real life. I'm not saying D&D isn't real life. Sorry. Like ants in real life are very good at lifting things up that are a lot heavier than them. But compared to what we can lift up, it doesn't weigh up. So they can carry things something like 3 times their body weight, but their body weight is our fingernail.
Yeah, but J.W. Greaves has a good point that I was going to say. Powerful build would have been pretty good. The thing where you can be treated like a size larger. I'd say if they wanted to go for that, maybe like twice powerful build, so they'd be able to lift.
Powerfuler build.
Let's check Cobalt. Is it in the backstory?
They've got an auto grapple as well. And that just does a D6. I mean, I know where I'm knocking points off from there, because there's no escape DC listed. There's no statement of when it does the damage. Also, that's a 10-foot grapple. It's a small creature with a 10-foot grapple.
Yeah, and it's also doing damage. So I think the meta's going to be a bit lower on this, but again, I quite like the essence of what they've put into it. It looks really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, let's there's another look at that artwork. Let's keep scrolling down. Next we have the Platyodonite. Thank you again for making these really easy names for me.
They've clearly put a lot of thought into this.
Absolutely. And onto its artwork. Again, looks very, very pretty.
Yep, like
termite
insect.
It's very thematic, and I am enjoying that a hell of a lot.
Yeah, I really do like the thematics of this. That's a high AC. But that does make sense. They had a bit about that in their backstory that I saw whilst we were skimming through.
Yeah, they're just like clad in plate armor.
To be fair, if it's that small, it's going to be a bugger to hit.
Yeah, tiny. They can't move at all, though.
Like, there are high ACs sorry, let me move my mic close to my face. There are high ACs at low levels, but that is so high for a half challenge rating.
Yeah. I think the challenge rating will probably bring it up to CR1.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it does look pretty fair. But it can't really move at all. It has 5 feet.
Yeah.
Which I think then brings it down.
Not when you're bringing...
To be honest, the half feels a bit high.
Yeah.
It's doing 1d2 plus 2 damage once a turn. And that's... If it's not used, it's unbreakable defense.
That is true.
Which just makes it untouchable.
Yeah.
To attacks.
Yeah.
Yeah. The 1d2 I'm a bit iffy on, because bringing a d2 into anything, you want to use standard dice.
I mean, tell wizards that. Wild Magic Barbarian running over d3.
Yeah, I do.
Put it up to a 1, but unbreakable defense isn't exactly broken. It can't do anything.
I'm not saying
it just stays.
I'm just saying, like,
it can't hurt it, but also it can't hurt you. So
yeah, it's just a monster that sits there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to see more of what this could do. It's probably in its backstory, but this feels like a creature that's designed to do something that isn't in the stat block.
I would argue that it being tiny ruins the unbreakable defense, because this would be cool as hell if it could like block a door.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's why I'm thinking it's supposed to work as like a colony, because you could see if several of them filled up a space and they stopped moving, like the nanobots from Big Hero 6, where they're tiny, they don't do anything on their own. You get a bunch of them together, but then you'd probably want to see a plateodomite swarm stat block for something like that.
Yes, I agree with you on that.
Apes together strong.
Apes together strong.
Yeah, and like the living infrastructure makes sense with that as well. Like a swarm gets up and then carries you over this terrain.
Yeah, no, I think this would be really interesting as a swarm, but I'd like to see what that swarm can do as rote.
Yeah, but for this creature on its own, I think a half is way too high of a challenge rating.
Okay, let's go down to the conduit bug. That sounds like some good old electricity to me, but once again, let's scroll through very, very slowly.
Crane fly, this one. Oh, I just saw a swarm mentioned here.
Ooh, that's very
like
mosquito-like.
Yeah.
That is very mosquito-like. And now I instantly hate it, but think it's really cool. And up to its stat block. Yeah.
Ring mail on a tiny construct.
Them all construct
it's a common issue with all of these stat blocks. They've just put the AC as an armor instead of just saying natural armor.
Yeah, I think natural armor is the thing that makes sense.
For these, it might make sense. Obviously, I hadn't fully looked through the lore, but like with the plate mail termite, I think it makes sense of this sort of cyborg kind of creature. Like it is an insect inside, and it's a construct because it's been wrapped in this armor completely.
It does make sense, but at that point, yeah,
kind of gets me.
Yeah,
like I know that I think this is kind of a thing with most of these things is they're designed to be in swarms. I think I would have liked to see it as a swarm of conduit bugs rather than a conduit bug.
Yeah,
like it's almost like you get it, they don't like there are stats for bees and flies, but you wouldn't fight a bee in D&D.
No, like that's a CR0.
And I wouldn't fight a conduit bug. I wouldn't put my players against a conduit bug.
No. And I'm looking at the cogency swarm. I'm not sure how that would be useful as the DM. I'm not sure. because it looks like an interesting ability. I'm not sure when in the hell you'd actually use it. Because
I think this is the thing, is like in reality, the only time you're going to start using these well is if there's like 15 of them, and they'll become a genuine challenge then. But that is so much like to deal with as a DM. Like I tried to do I did some high level combat recently, where I was like, fuck it, 25 bandits.
Oh no.
And that's it. And then one bandit leader. And it was a really interesting battle because obviously it just meant that there was like 6 arrows coming at you at a time from a crossbow. But in this kind of situation where you're dealing with 15 tiny things, where a fighter can do a swing against one at a time. Because you're not a swarm.
I want a swarm stat block to begin with, and then I also I think the only way that their cogency swarm thing makes sense is if all of these are part of a hive mind in general. So you get they're sharing that information to a mainframe.
Especially because you're saying for every friendly conduit bug, and I don't think that applies.
Reflects that as well, because that's just saying for every friendly machine critter. Machine critter doesn't have a classification. I know it means these things, everything in this document.
Yeah. But that's not a thing.
I also don't like that they've moved psychic from a resistance to a vulnerability here.
Ooh, yeah.
Is this a more conscious bug? A 2+2 on intelligence?
And how come it's just skips being neutral?
Yeah.
I like the ideas of this.
There's more in the lore, and I feel like you can't expect a DM to make a swarm of this because that's a completely different creature.
Yeah. I feel like we're missing a lot by not knowing the lore. But obviously we don't have the time to read the 20 pages.
I think I was going to make this point later, but this is kind of a thing of like with D&D monsters, is that you should be able to apply it into your own campaign as well. So whilst it's really cool to have a lot of lore, it's almost it's a little bit of a hindrance to a DM who's either starting out or even an old DM who just wants to take the stat block and be like, how can I use this?
Yeah. I like things where you can read the stat block and kind of get the lore. And you're not really getting that from this. If you saw any one stat block on its own, you wouldn't really think there was more to it.
Yeah.
Question from the chat. Thinking about this, could you use the group combat rules for 5e? I don't know what that means.
You definitely could, but that shouldn't be a requirement to run a monster well. Like that's what swarms are for, really. Group combat essentially breaks down a swarm into just making it individual things that are easier to deal with, as opposed to treating a lot of things as.
Is this the UA mass combat thing? Because I've used this once before.
I thought it was the stuff in the DMG.
Okay.
Where
if you've got fair dues, makes sense.
10 creatures, and they all attack, some percentage of them hit instead of rolling all their dice. Against certain ACs.
Again, it just would kind of go a bit crazy.
Yeah, like it requires a DM to read a bit in the back of the DMG. They might not have done that, and it shouldn't be necessity for running a monster that you use these sets of rules.
Anyway, next up, we've got the Mechanopod. There is...
Here comes the big boy.
Ooh, that is very...
Beetle with wings?
Yeah, it looks like a beetle.
Burrowing, though. Note the digging appendages.
I can see them.
Yeah. We have indeed noted them. There is its stats block.
Cyclic is back in resistances.
Yeah. And it's got 10 int again, so... Apparently it's neutral at 12 int.
I think that this is just a bigger version of the spider at the start.
Yeah.
Looking at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it would probably play the same as well.
I think it's just like a strength version.
Why have they just written intimidation +0? It's because their charisma's -2, but but it's really intimidating.
I mean, that is a thing that I think occurs in official stat blocks.
Yeah. I just find that funny.
Yeah.
I think it makes sense, especially because they're supposed to be bugs.
Yeah.
I
They've
don't
said that this one is a medium construct swarm.
Okay, so this one's listed as a swarm.
Yeah, this is the first one that's been listed as swarm, which makes a difference. But again,
it doesn't have any of the swarm abilities.
It doesn't have any.
In a swarm.
This with half challenge ratings and 1/8 challenge ratings, they are designed to be groups of creatures.
Yeah.
You wouldn't throw a half challenge rating, a single goblin at a player because it doesn't. They were not going to do anything. Even at level 1, a single goblin's going to be nothing.
Yeah.
Where these things are built to be in swarms, but it's just so hard to determine what it is that it would be really difficult for the DM to judge it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to see the basic things that you get from insects, like that they can share your space and things like that make it interesting. Fighting things under your feet is always quite cool, and you want to see the basic swarm rules in there.
With that, we'll move on to the final one. The Hive Beast.
This is a big thing.
This is a very big thing. That is also bigger than Tarask, is it not? Oh, wait, no.
No, because it's feet, not meters.
Yeah.
The Tarask.
Fistic was as big as Tarask, yeah. Hive Beast.
Oh, it's like a stag beetle.
Yeah, stag beetle, which I one of my favorite insects.
Yeah, they're awesome. I do love a stag beetle.
This is such a huge jump.
Yeah.
To challenge rating 10, so I need to see something different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm seeing not much higher stats.
No,
just saving throws.
This feels like this feels like a CR3.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, 12 is, here we go, the breakpoint for being neutral against psychic damage.
The scratch ability doesn't have a to hit. It just is, you are scratched. There is nothing you can do about it.
You are scratched. You wake up, you are scratched.
Damage can't be untyped in D&D, so that's also an issue.
It releases 1d6 tiny or small insects of the DM's choice. That's slightly interesting.
Yeah, that's like the mythic rules out of Theros. Quite like. Second wave doesn't do anything.
No, that's just multi-attack with a different way of describing it.
Name,
yeah.
It's got. I mean, if this thing escapes, I don't see this thing escaping a combat and using hit dice. So
no.
Like 4 o'clock, we wouldn't really be doing much.
No.
15-foot radius half circle. I mean, that's what we have cones for.
Yeah.
I know they're different shapes, but on acrobatics against the
dexterity skill plus 1d8. That's a weird way to roll that.
Yeah. And it's a weird feeling about like it's called slam, but it sweeps its legs through the space.
And tangentially to the arc, that's just going to be annoying to plot.
Yeah.
There's enough math in D&D, and I say this as somebody who is doing a math degree.
I say this as someone who has a degree in maths.
I say this as a theatre student. Too much maths.
I think we've seen enough from this.
Yeah.
Okay. Shall we do some scoring?
Yeah. Should we start with meta again?
Let's start with the meta.
Right.
I don't like the meta.
I don't like the meta either, but I think it's better than the last one, which is why I've given it a 2.
That's why I'm giving it a 1.
Yeah, exact same thought as the rest of you. It's better, but again, they haven't put things necessarily in the right sections. They're better than they were last time. They've given things weird names, and they've just mixed everything up a bit. It doesn't have the standard things you get when you do a stat block, which is just a bit painful.
In terms of meta, like to give people an idea of how I'm scoring, I don't know how you guys are doing it. If I give it a 4 or less, it will mean that I probably would not want to put this in a game with players until it is like genuinely reworked. Because it's not that I don't like the way it's written, and it's not that I don't like the creatures because they sound cool as hell. It is much more, it will annoy any player, just new or old.
Yeah. For me, part of it is just how it's written. As a DM, I want to be able to just grab a monster and use the stat block, and I can't. Things are in the wrong places. I don't have all the abilities are fleshed out. And it's the jump from every CR less than 1 to a CR 10 monster that's definitely not CR 10.
Yeah.
It really puts me off.
For reference, I use monster cards a lot, and I've got a monster card right here. I can just pull out a card, look at it. I don't have to have pulled it out before, and I've just pulled out a Roper, for example. I have figured out how to play this against a challenge rating 5, so I can play this in my party. I can figure out how to use this pretty quickly. I've got a monster card out right now, by the way. That's my frame of reference.
So is that a 2
monster cards are my whole shit. Yeah, I'm on a 2 because I think there's potential.
Yeah.
I don't think this is nothing.
2 from you too?
Yeah, that's a 2.
2. Okay, let's talk about the design. Or more so, let's go the design, because we've been on this for a rather long time.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot to go through. I mean, design.
I like the concepts that this has. I just don't think they fleshed it out right. I'm getting the sense that they want to do more with this than they've actually put in their stat blocks. So I've gone with a 4 because I like the ideas that it's created, but there's nothing tangible that I can do with them.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more.
I think I'm going to push it up slightly to a 5, just because they've got a lot in the lore and what they're going for. It's not accurately reflected in the stat blocks. I agree, but the amount of effort being put in to sort of try and capture that, at the very least, gives it that slight extra. For me.
I am also putting it at a 5 for pretty much the same reasons. I think that a lot of effort and care has been put into it from whoever did this I don't think is an experienced monster creator, which is why I very much think if this is a first attempt, if it's not, I'm so rude right now, and that's such a horrible thing to say. But if this is a first attempt, I'm actually quite impressed for the first time you've made monsters in D&D.
Yeah, if this is one of their first attempts at actually stat blocking some really creative monsters, it is very
so
impressive.
difficult to do. It's a very difficult thing to do, and it just needs more work.
Which pushes us onto quality.
I've given it a 4. Again, it's relatively well laid out. I like the document. I like their pictures. I can see exactly what they've concentrated on for each of them, and it's nice to see the inspiration that went into them. But again, it's a bit lacking.
Okay. Bryn?
I'm going to go ahead and give it a 6 out of 10.
Okay. And Connagh?
That's a 5 from me.
Okay, that puts it on a score of, what is that, 34. So 10 higher. 10 higher than the previous score of the Heckenchonkers and Quonk. I can finally say that now. Shall we move on to our next one, the Crimson King?
We, as the judges, have voted for a break.
Yeah, we've voted.
Oh, have you? Okay,
yes.
We'll have a little break.
Back by 1:45.
Yeah.
Back by 1:45. 10-minute break, guys. Cool. Ooh la la, I am back.
Welcome back, Dom.
Oh, thanks. Welcome back to you also, Connor.
Yeah.
Lovely job, play. 3 out of 4. Almost there. Cobalt in the chat is saying that I hate
I'm
that.
impressed you haven't said Scouter.
Hello.
Scourg. Seriously, how do you say that?
Scourgewing.
Scourgewing. Okay,
Scourgewing.
Scourgewing. Cobalt is saying it's their favourite. Hashtag Don Talks. I really don't.
Scourgewing is also our current favourite as well, I believe.
It is. Wait, no, it isn't.
Not quite.
Scourgewing is second to Corinthal. If you're coming back...
I put Scourgewing higher of my individual scores. Hello, I'm Bryn. I'm back.
Oh, well, we're all back. We won't do the introduction-y stuffs. We're just gonna
Only I need one.
go straight into it.
The only important one here, Bryn.
Thank you.
With the Crimson King.
I'm already excited about this one.
Yeah.
We have its token right here. I believe this is the only artwork we have for it. So,
do we know if they made this or if they ripped this?
actually, I don't know that. I'll try and find out if I can.
I always like a monster that comes with a token, ripped or not.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. I want to credit original artists if this is someone. This is someone else's art.
Is it this one? There it is. They haven't said. However, we do have a nice description before we go on to the stat box stuffs. This creature is known as the Crimson King. It's an undead whose legend is the most threatening part of his existence. The creature appears to be a tall, hooded figure cowled in a bright red cloak that hides any of its features beneath. Close inspection would show it hovers slightly off the ground. The Crimson King and its kin frequent desolate places like ruins and tombs, but can be found within forests or within the Underdark. The creature spends its day wandering aimlessly within its abode, absent-minded until it can find a humanoid. Upon finding one or more, it will attempt as best it can to subdue them, with the hopes of passing their curse on. The true horror of the Crimson King is the tale of them that draws adventurers to slay. These tales are whispered into public rumour by their demon masters, leaving the simple suggestion to find and kill the abomination, and conveniently leaving out the Crimson King's ability to pass its curse on. Many an adventurer have fallen prey to this idle monster, even after felling them, simply because they were unable to find the demon to remove their curse. So if you hear a tale of a monster that needs slay, take a moment to check who's telling the tale, for they might not have as pristine intentions as first impressions would suggest.
I like that.
Very spooky.
Very, very spooks. Let's bring up.
I already know what I want to see in this stat block, just from that.
If there's no levitate, I'm going to freak out.
That's definitely not right.
It just has legendary actions. That's so funny to me.
Okay. 1 sec. Let's go like this and this and back up. There we go. Oh, it's perfect. It's perfectly on the street. No, it isn't. I am big dumb. There we go.
That is a very low challenge rating for what I thought this was going to be.
Yeah.
Obviously, its main thing is that Crimson Curse. I'll say this much. I can't actually remember, though I might check if it one's near. No, I don't have the monster guide with me. Are the titles of the actions and all supposed to be capitalized?
They are.
Okay. I'm a stickler for all this. I should have said it for a couple of the other ones that have been before.
That's what I've been knocking quality points off for.
Okay, good.
I mean, that's not too deep in reality. That's not going to change what it actually is.
Absolutely
if you
not.
get to capitalize something.
But to me, like, if you're making something, you've got to...
Like, that's why it's going to be quality for me.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, I want the stat block to look proper.
Absolutely. And this one, apart from the capitalization, looks mostly...
I really don't like this Crimson Curse, I'll be honest. That's just a guarantee.
Yeah, there's no save.
I threw this monster at you. Enjoy your 7 days.
I'm not sure in what context you would want to do this to your PCs, because it could be a TPK without anything they can do about it.
Yeah, like I presume Remove Curse hits it, but that requires you to have Remove Curse.
At level 6, you might not.
Yeah, there's better third level spells to be taking.
And like the fact there's like no save against it at all, it's just you look at it and that's it.
And you're almost guaranteed to look at it. They've not even included like in Medusa stat blocks or what is it, Bodak. You can choose to avert your eyes at the start of the turn.
Yeah.
Should we take a look at the legendary actions?
Yeah.
It also just has that grappling thing again, with it automatically grappling on a hit, also does damage. There's no escape DC.
Ooh, that's very good.
I feel with this creature, you're going to be saying a lot. It doesn't actually say at the end of every question. Like your player might ask, do I get to make the save at the end of my turn or at the start of my turn to escape the grapple? Do I get to make this at the end of my turn? How does this affect reactions? And
this I don't like either.
Yeah, this is a nightmare. You can do this twice.
30-foot grapple. I mean, it's only a +5 to hit, but it heals the thing as well. They did include an escape DC here at least.
Yeah.
And also you can destroy the cloak, which I like. Like that's good.
Yeah, I do like but no, I wouldn't want to do that to my players. Again, it's that grappled and restrained. That is completely wiping out one of your PCs for
a turn. Yeah,
if not more.
Grapple. The reason that there are reasons why grapple is just so underpowered. It's because it is not designed to be It's designed to be a hindrance for a moment. And it's why it's normally thrown into a lot of things.
Grappled itself, I think, is quite nice to have, but you don't want to do both damage and grappled. Normally, the monster has to make a choice, and grappled and automatically restrained. You could always have, if they don't escape in one turn, then they will become restrained. But starting off there,
the big issue with this for me is if we look at something like the giant constrictor snake, that has an on-hit grapple and restrain that does damage, but it can't constrict another target while it's doing that. Whereas this, at the end of the first person in your party's turn, it's going to do this, and at the end of the next person, it's going to do it again. And then
it hasn't actually said that it's limited.
You can just grapple and restrain the entire party. Like they'll probably get out because it's really low DC, but they're still taking 1d6 damage, and it's still healing for a d6 as well.
Yeah, I think implicitly, because it's a cloak, it can only have one target at any time grappled, but it doesn't say that. So as written, you can have, as you said, everybody grappled and restrained, which just doesn't seem right. And it's, again, that was the same thing with their other physical attack. It doesn't say that they can do it once per enemy or once per arm or something. It just says they're just grappled. Have fun.
Yes, go back to the main stat block.
I've got my scores ready.
Ooh.
I'm just trying to work out what its casting stat is. I think it's strength. Whale of the Damned, which is really bizarre to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready to do my scores.
Okay. Shoot them at me, Bryn. Shoot them.
I was going to say for a meta, I'm going to give this a 2.5. Because I think it improves upon the Insectum, where it, in some aspects, and also has the same downfalls as the other as Insectum. But I would just put it slightly above the last one.
Okay. What about the other two of yours for the meta?
I've given it a 3. I basically agree with what Bryn said.
Join me in the 0.5 team, though.
No one's joining you in the 0.5 team.
We love 0.5.
I'm going to have to
give it
go
out
with
of 20.
the 2, I think, for the meta. Like Bryn said, on those points, and like it's better than the insects, and it's doing, but things like this Crimson Curse needs work for sure. And then the other little things just sort of stack up and bring it down.
What about its design?
I've put the design at a 3, mainly because there isn't really much there. There isn't really like a story to go along with this, besides the one you said at the start. Like, it feels quite generic. It feels a little bit like it didn't really relate to the stats much either. Like, it doesn't even have it just doesn't feel like the same thing you described at the start. The description hit quite hard, and it didn't reflect that at all.
I've given it a 4 for similar reasons. The description was really interesting. It is the sort of thing that would be really cool to drop into a venture if it had been like the description had described, and it's just not quite there. I don't think... I do see the thematics they're going for, but I don't think it's hit it.
Okay, and Connagh?
I'm also going to give it a 4 on the design. Like Rowan said, it's trying to capture what that story was telling, but it's done that in such a way that it's just slapped that ability wholesale in without consideration for how it would actually function.
Okay, and its quality? Let's start with Connagh this time.
Oh, you're the worst. Quality, I'm going to have to say probably a 3 for this.
I'm also saying a 3.
I went for a 4. I could again see where they were going with it, but it's a bit very rough around the edges.
Yeah, I like the idea. I like the thematics. It just needs a lot of tuning.
Okay, and with that, we place it in between Heckenchunkers and Quonk and Chaos's Insectum with a 28.5. And we move on to, yes, I want to close the tabs. Let's move on. Oh, that too, don't need that anymore. The Galrath, which has a very interesting design.
Whoa! Hell yeah!
Oh, nice.
Let's get this up on the stream.
That is definitely an aberration.
No?
Yeah.
That's what I wanted.
That's visually, this is the one that stood out to me already. Just hit me the strongest.
Yeah. That's making me think of the Shy Guy, the SCP.
It looks like an SCP. Yeah, I would compare it to an SCP.
Absolutely.
It's creepy.
It is.
It is. Let's zoom in slightly on this top bit. Shall I read this? I think I'll read this. A reclusive and mysterious creature, the Galrith prefers to stay within its own pocket universe. Unfortunately for anyone who encounters it, even a Galrith has to eat from time to time. Goodness gracious me. The heckin' chonkers has taken it completely out of me. Rather than going to the food, the Galrith prefers that the food comes to it. To this end, it spins entrances linking its pocket universe to the real world for unwitting prey to stumble inside.
Okay.
The pocket universe will assume the form of an imperfect copy of the victim's current location. This seems to be because the Galrith enjoys playing with its prey. The Galrith is incapable of copying higher organisms, so the pocket universe is devoid of animals and people. Survivors report a pervasive sense of being watched, coupled with a growing feeling of unease, mixed with deja vu. As the victim begins to doubt the reality of the fake world, or the Galrith's impatience grows, the pocket universe's facade begins to collapse, slowly revealing a desolate, corrupted landscape as the Galrith begins to stalk its latest meal. It's unknown where the Galrith comes from or how it came into existence. It appears to neither speak nor understand language, but seems to be good at reading emotions. It will take any prey that stumbles into its trap, but appears to actively seek out creatures with intelligence of above 3.
I love that.
Yeah.
I need these stats to be good, please.
Yeah. I want to use this monster.
This is really high. This sounds cool as hell. I can just imagine they're in like a dungeon and they just walk into the room and this thing just stands up creepily. What a situation.
Not even that. Like they just walk into the next room and like there's nothing in there. Maybe their scouting said there was something in there. And they get really confused. Then there's this sense of being watched. And then this thing ambushes them at some point as they continue to wander around this dungeon.
It's given you so much.
But now they're in this pocket universe.
Stormclaw has pointed out that this is a lot like Coraline, which, the whole other mother vibe.
This also reminds me of the big boss in Solo Leveling, if anyone's ever read that. But it's super creepy. Let's have a look at this stat block. Can I move this?
Yeah.
No. No, I can't. That's a shame. Let's go like that. Move down slightly.
There we go.
Just about. Gotta love a dad's belly on a strangely creepy creature.
Has Solo Leveling come off of its hiatus yet?
Yeah.
Has it? Okay.
A while back. It's really good. Only CR6, you're quite right. I was expecting something quite a bit more ghastly.
Beefy.
Yeah.
I mean, what I can say is that the numbers are right for a CR6 at least.
Yeah, definitely. It does. It feels like a CR6 monster. Doesn't necessarily feel like the monster that was described a minute ago.
I think I disagree with that because the idea behind it is potentially taking it into that pocket world, pocket universe, and then it is that creature in the world. Like its big thing is the universe, not necessarily what it's doing.
Yeah, like its magic resistance only functions in its pocket universe. Like essentially, it's like mimics in a sense. But instead of mimicking objects, it mimics the environment. But yeah, no, I can see this being CR6.
Yeah. I would have liked to have seen some sort of explanation as to how it creates a place that looks so similar. Or maybe some sort of telepathy ability, something like innate detect thoughts.
Yeah, and languages that should definitely have a telepathy or can read minds. Yeah, like
I did say it was quite good at reading emotions, so I'd expect to have like proficiency in insight or something rather than perception. or as well as.
Yeah.
But it definitely fits what it says it is leveling wise.
Yeah, I think this is probably going to be the best meta score I give so far.
Shall we go with that? I think it's a fairly small stat box, so we're able to get through it quite quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say that sweet and simple and a great CR6 creature that can appear like nothing. Like, it's not a big bad end game dungeon boss. It's almost like a halfway point, and it's exactly what people need in a lot of campaigns.
Definitely.
I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10 on the meta.
I've gone for an 8 out of 10 on the meta. I think it's done really well in that aspect.
I'm also going to go for an 8. Yeah, I think the numbers are the most accurate we've had all day.
Yeah.
The damage may be a little high.
That was my thing, is that damage was a little high, but that was it.
Rob's saying that it looks very weedy, so he thinks the stat and damage reflect that. Shall we talk about its design? Let's zoom out once more and talk about that adorable little face. Oh wait, no, that's in quality. But the design, guys, what are we thinking?
I've got it's the return of the 0.5 team. I've gone with a 7.5 for the design. I think the stat block really reflects the creature that was described personally. I think that it feels creepy in its simplicity, and it hits exactly where it wants to.
Yeah, I've gone for a 7. I think it would be really interesting to play with. I think it all feels like the right thematics, and it is something that I feel like I could plug and play with, and it would bring a lot of flavor to the sessions.
Yeah, I'm also going for a 7. There are a couple of things missing from the stat block, as we mentioned, to fully capture it, but this is that sort of mimic or oblex or doppelganger that you can throw into a game and your party instantly gets more paranoid. There's a lot of feeling in the monster, even without seeing it.
Plural J is saying this would be great for a level 3 encounter, they think, somewhere around there. Even to just have a way of escaping instead of engaging it.
Yeah, like just terrifying your party with this.
Yeah.
Especially if it's a good descriptive DM, you could make an this could be potentially like campaign defining session with how creepy you could make it.
Like this is definitely like an early arc.
Yeah.
Or if you had a pack of them, that could be a good late game thing.
Yeah.
Well, it says that it's reclusive and it stays within its own pocket universe. So I think I doubt it would go into a pack.
It's very easily going to separate your party as well. Because like if you're at a tavern, one of you goes into your room for the night, it's made that an entry point. And now one of you is alone in a pocket dimension with this thing. And if you're like not of a high enough level to handle it yourself and you can't escape, good luck. That's terrifying to consider as a player, to know that can happen.
Yeah.
Like you will change how you play because of this.
Plural J has a good point. You can have a weird warlock that's been collecting them for their own mismatched house of horrors. That's cool. Would be a arc of its own.
Thank you, my friend James.
Yeah, I'm just like imagining now like a house of mirrors. You go in and got all these reflections, and it's not the same house of mirrors that you went into, that you come out of.
Absolutely. Shall we talk about its quality then?
I'm going to go in with a strong hits for the high quality. I'm going to say it's a 9.
Okay.
I look at this page and it feels so well made, and I love the design. I love the quality. It looks fun. The way the writing wraps around the creature. Whoever made this drew the creature, I give so many props to them. It looks it's so simple, but it works so well.
Yeah, I've also gone with a 9. It's really cool. I really like the page. It is something that if this was on DM's Guild or something, I would be getting that so fast.
I think I'm going to give this a 10 for the quality. To be honest, it captures everything I want it to. The stat block, I haven't seen a single error in there. Everything is correctly formatted, and it's just really well put together. All in all, like I said, there's bits missing, but that was points off from design.
Well,
the quality,
well.
I don't think this could be better.
We have our new leader, if it wasn't clear already. Gareth leaps up with a 72.5 into first place, and that is, what is that? That's 14.5 ahead of our previous top scorer. So this will be the one to beat. Let's move on to the Iron Angel.
That's a cool name already.
Oh, it's a document for this one. So we're zooming. Let's see what we're looking at. Do I have a stat block for it, is my question. I think I do. I do. Where is it though? There it is. Okay. Plop it
Should we
onto
look
the
at the
screen.
lore surrounding it before we look at the stat block?
Absolutely. Absolutely, we should. I'm not going to read it all out because this one seems fairly long, but I am going to zoom into it and slowly scroll down.
Just from skimming this is what I expected just off the name.
Yeah. It's got some good visual descriptions as well.
Yeah. In the monster manual, there's like the good group of golems, isn't there? There's like constructs. There's the iron. There's the bronze, I think it is, and stuff. But this would definitely fit in well with them.
Yeah. It's nice to see a monster that isn't super killy. One that's designed to be reasoned with.
So this would place between a clay golem and a stone golem for reference. At CR8. That's kind of.
Let me know if there's anything you want me to zone in on.
Just keep going.
That's the end.
Oh.
And,
I'd like to see that stat block then.
Okay, let's go on to it.
I did like that lore included ways it would use its abilities.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's always really good to see.
Sorry, I accidentally clicked onto the wrong thing. Let's go like that.
Interesting to see dark vision instead of any sort of true sight for a celestial entity.
It is a construct, though.
True.
It's just got more of a celestial bent. What we got hanging around CR8, that's a construct.
Comment of 20 AC and a bunch of immunities seems like a lot for CR8.
Doesn't seem like a lot for a construct, though.
Yeah, that's pretty standard.
Yeah, it's very much like a flesh golem.
Yeah.
Let's move this down. to its actions.
And the HP pool was a little high.
That's a lot of damage.
Oh, that's a lot of damage.
That's a lot of damage.
No, that's a lot of damage. I'm going to get the monster manual up because I don't think that's too high. Actually, no, the DM's guide.
I've currently got the clay golem and the stone golem up. When the clay golem slams, it does 2d10. This thing does 3d10. And clay golem is even higher CR than this.
Yeah, this is a lot of damage for an enemy to do.
That's the radiant
That's a
flame.
high range.
Yeah,
150 feet range is a bit insane.
Very low to hit, but 66 of damage. I mean, that's a mini fireball.
Yeah, I feel like it was a little bit high in its AC and HP, but these attacks are much higher than CR8.
According to the DMG, for a CR8, HP should be around about 176 to 190. So this is actually quite a bit below. This is the CR of a level 6. Yeah, absolutely.
The health pool seems fine with the armor class as well.
When I'm looking at like a Warforged Titan, is CR8. It's got 20 AC. It's got 125 hit points. Just for reference.
It's around right range.
Yeah,
I'm not seeing many issues with its base stats. Yeah. It's just the attacks that are a bit.
I think it's the. I think the attacks need reworking. I actually don't think what we're seeing right now. I think it's the below that needs working. The actions, especially.
Yeah.
Not only do they. Let's say if we fix the damage on the actions, they are actually quite plain. I'd argue. Like if they weren't high damage, they would kind of be nothing. It would just kind of be another golem. Like it could just be a clay golem.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just added that dispel magic and the radiant flame on top of it.
For me, I feel like there could be more done here.
I can see the point of why it might have high damage, given that it's not likely to resort to attacking. I can think that's probably why the author did this. It does a lot of damage because it may spend the first 3 turns of combat just standing there trying to reason with you.
What's its alignment? That doesn't normally factor into things for me, but I'm interested. Unaligned. For me, that doesn't make sense.
No.
I feel this is a good creature.
It's the classic golem alignment, but
this is
from the lore.
I think that the way to improve upon what this is to take it away from, keep it as a construct, but take it away from the golems. It's currently just another one of the golems, and I think that the golems have explored enough as is. Whoever made this, I really enjoy it, and I just think you need to put some more time into it and think about what it would mean to make this an iron angel and not an iron golem.
My apologies, there is a little bit in the email. Doobie-doobie-doo. Nothing in particular to mention that's not in the description. The idea is that it's a golem-like creature that's powered by celestial energy from slain angels rather than elemental energy, which makes it slightly unique. So, and of course, when in the actual document for the creator monster, we've said that you can just sort of have alternatives to current monsters or a little bits of changes that you'd like to see. It's not necessarily uniqueness specifically that we're looking for. But with that said, do people have some meta scores for me?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and give this a 5.
It's very low.
I would put
Are you
this
sure you didn't want to do this as a 0.5?
I'm going to put it on a 4.5 now you said that.
Was your thing?
I was going to say, the reason I'm saying 4.5 is because I would not put it on the same level as the Scourge Wing. But I would put it close. and I gave that a 5. And I don't think it is the same level of meta and good design. I'll go into design in a bit, but yeah, I think the meta of this is not as strong as the Scorch Ring was, but it's not awful. Just needs work.
Yeah, I've given it a 6 because almost all of it is really solid with how you'd expect it to be for the CR. It's just the attacks that seem a bit funky. But otherwise, I'm quite happy with the meta.
I'm going to go with a 5 on the meta. Like considering the CR that they've given, the damage is 2 up there. Plus it has a fly speed with a ranged attack of that damage, which changes things a lot. So either tune the damage down or push the CR up.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, Rowan, was that a 6 from you?
Yes.
Okay. How about its design?
For its design, I'm going to go ahead and give it a 5. I think it's what it sets out to be. That's the best way to put it. But doesn't exactly mean it's like one of the most unique designs that we've seen tonight. But it's not by any means one of the worst. I'm so sorry.
I've gone for a 4. I do like what it's done. I'd just like to see more of the description in the stat block, I suppose.
I'm actually going to give it a 6 on the design. I was going to go lower until you read out that part from the email earlier. Because, yeah, I can see this as it is just a golem, but it's powered by something different. And that doesn't control it, that just sort of influences it. This is where it's getting the Dispel Magic and the Radiant Flame from. I think it captures that nicely. But like Rowan said, I would maybe want to see it a bit more.
Okay, and its quality?
I've gone for a 7. I think it's pretty good quality. I do like the way it's got the right formatting and everything. The description was really good. It's definitely up there.
Right, wow. Connagh?
I'm going to go with an 8 here. Yeah, like Rowan said, the formatting is all correct. I didn't see any errors. Everything's in the right place. Everything's formatted well. And like it does just fit nicely as well.
And Bryn?
I'm popping a 7.5 on this one. Same reason.
At least it puts it at an even, like a non-decimal score.
You guys are cowards. Round
They're
numbers.
following the rules, Bryn.
Were we told not to do 0.5s?
You were not. I let you do it, but it's out of 10. So...
Yeah, 0.5 out of 10.
If we were on a scale of 20, you would have been saying, oh, let's do a 10.5 here. It's not quite 11, it's not quite 10. So I'm letting you do it.
And the real power move would be doing irrational numbers.
If it was on a scale of 20, I would have still done a 0.5s.
Absolutely. That's what
I want to give it a 2 pi out of 10.
This makes more sense. It makes less sense to do it on 0.5s if it was out of 20.
I agree. Anyway, that puts it in 4th place, I believe, just behind the Scudwing, only by 1.5 points. And that brings us on to the Mirror Heart Rose. Only 4 more to go, guys. Let's get this up. This has 4 monsters. Oof, did they say which they'd like to go first? Yikes, that's a lot of stuff things. Okay.
We're going to have some more Dom talks.
Shout outs for the art. It's made by Joshua Bell, who is not the contestant itself. Must do all of that good stuffs there. Let's
I would probably have to say this will probably be my last one.
Okay,
sadly.
I'll take over from you.
That's fine. Yeah, I was going to ask Dom if you could take over my scores, but I'll do this one last one because I have to disappear after this.
Okay, let's try and start with the mirror heart rose itself.
That makes sense.
It does. Oh God, that's long.
Oh, that's a big.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
That's a big stat block.
I'm looking forward to that.
Okay. This is apparently CR4.
Okay. Let's try.
Is there an
and
image
zoom
for this?
in.
I'd like to see some like lore or design behind it before we
I
get
am
into the
trying
stats.
to find it.
Okay.
Okay. There is an image, and there's also a lot of lore, which I'll put in a document for people to read because it's all in an email. Let's see if I can do that. There it is.
Ooh.
Okay.
Very pretty, and I like that it's a white rose because we're here at York.
In
not
York,
Lancaster.
yeah, clever. If it was red, it would have lost points.
Absolutely.
Such tribalism.
How dare you?
Absolutely.
Proud to
that
be
is
in
on
Yorkshire.
our-
Yeah.
Half of us are Essex folk, and yet we're still repping
Yeah,
Yorkshire pride.
half of us are from Essex, but Yorkshire pride in it. I'm not going to have Essex pride. That gives off racist energy.
Properly.
Yeah.
So whilst you're looking at this, I will try and read off some of the lore. Fae are tricksters by trade, and wizards are targets they take pride in pranking. However, sometimes there are wizards who, quite rightly, either try and prevent these pranks or put up some defences. An archfey will not take this kindly, especially if the defence in question is the maze spell. As payback, a mirror heart rose may be planted in the unfortunate wizard's abode. Once the seeds take root around a mirror, or even just a piece of magic-infused glass, there is little a wizard can do to stop the rapid growth of vines consuming them and their ex-house. After the initial nutrients from their target run dry, the mirror heart will leave in search of more food. This makes them significantly easier to attack, as they have less ways to trip you, induce continuous sneezing, or make you a grotesque centerpiece in a garden. Let's move this down somewhat as I continue. Daring chefs and alchemists have found many uses for this foe. Chefs love using the petals to add sour floral notes to gins or jellied treats. The petals can also be boiled down into a white paste, which is a perfect all-natural white dye. This has led to less lead poisonings amongst the nobility. On the other hand, the pollen makes for a helpful sleeping potion due to the lingering traces of the shattered grove in the potent pollen of the plant. Some wizards have tried to reclaim the object at the center of the creature with little success, but some theorize that if it was grown from a portal, then permanent access to the shattered grove could be achieved. Others believe that this is just fairy folly, and would prefer to move their attention to more important matters, like how to stop a plant from using them for fertilizer. They are solitary creatures, which is helpful considering if two were to meet, no one knows what will happen. Here's some, I'll scroll down a little bit again as I tell you some trivia about them, that they hate the color red. If they see it, they will bury it. Were you expecting the word try in the last sentence? Alas, that would be giving people false hope. Some scholars and books refer to these creatures as the Venus wizard trap. And the Archfey have an ongoing bet about what would happen if two were to meet. The stakes are known. Who's in the lead? No one knows. So that's one of the.
This is. I made a comment earlier about the Heckin' Chonkers, which is like, can you make something funny and useful at the same time? We haven't properly gone through the stat block, but I personally think so far that like this is a better attempt at humor. Through genuinely taking out stats. However, I already think CR4 is too low.
Yeah, same.
I'm very torn on the CR because I've read the Shattered Grove ability, and the fact it can only hit sort of one set of creatures at a time, and also it doesn't choose which set. That's decided randomly. so like it can't focus on more threatening creatures, and also the save DCs are quite low.
Yeah, and it can only do the Shattered Grove ability once per 24 hours on any particular enemy. So
it's absolute pain to run though.
Yeah,
but
that would be quite difficult.
Very dangerous if you get put asleep and into the Shattered Grove, and then it gets to move in the real world that turn, because now you're unconscious, and so it can move up to you and slap you for crit damage. But I think that's why it's good for the save DCs low, like they are. Like I think I'd move the CR up a little bit, but like around that 4 to 6 range, I think is good.
It's supposedly 5'2" tall, with a weight of 72 pounds. Its main form of movement is its tentacle-like vines, with which it uses to drag itself across moss-covered or stone floors. These are mainly a dark vegetal green, with thorns covering them, giving a brown speckled effect to them. In the center, encased in a prison of plant matter, lies its heart, a mirror, glass shard, or on very rare occasions, a portal. This will often not reflect anything back, but instead shows a green-tinted image of the Shattered Grove. Finally, crowning this bush of thorns is a rose-like head, white petals droop like hair, and fully encase a pod of silver glittering pollen, which it shoots at threads. And this is backed up by the Mirror Heart Rose portal, if I can grab it. Nope. Which appears to be a CR5. All of these abilities are, I believe, the same.
Yeah, they look like it.
Less AC, slightly.
Slightly
HP,
more health. I had 2, I believe. Oh, no, same.
No, same health.
Just
same health.
1 less AC.
And looks to have 1 more attack. No, the exact same. Just with... Let's try and get these side by side, shall we? Like so and like
do you mind if I give my scores? I'm so very sorry because I have to dip.
Absolutely. Please do.
Do you want me to go ahead? Okay.
Go for it.
I could just give all of them if you're ready, right? So for the meta, I've given it a 5 out of 10. I think that it's got its highs and it's got its lows. I think that it's very well thought out, but it just needs I think it needs play testing. This is the first one I've looked at and been like, this needs to be put up against some players so you can see what you need to improve upon. You need to see it in action for it to truly understand it. It's hard to see it right now out of action. For the design, I've given it an 8.5. I love the design. I think it looks like a real D&D thing. I love how the energy, I love all of the little descriptions after the actual attacks and things like that. Really gives me good vibes. And quality, I've given it a 9 out of 10. I really like the look of it.
Okay. Thank you very much. Chat, say bye to Bryn.
It's okay. It's been
wonderful.
An honor. Thank you so much for having me out here.
It's been lovely. We hope to speak to you soon.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
okay.
Slightly off the screen, isn't it? There we go.
Have fun with the rest of this. Enjoy. Bye, guys.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye. Okay. It looks like it's the same stuff for damages and things.
Yeah.
And then it's also got an entangled Mirror Heart Rose, which is CR7, a lot more HP, a lot more AC, can do the same things, a little bit more damage.
These are all very, very similar.
Yeah, it's just the same thing, but let's go. I mean, I don't see any differences apart from the AC between the Rose and the Portal. and this is just a stronger version of them both.
Yeah, I'm struggling to see the point in having these as separate enemies.
Yeah, this feels just like, because it's not like additions like with dragons. As they get older, you add things to the stat block. This is just like a DM could have just bumped the numbers up if they want a stronger fight.
Yep, agreed.
It's a lot bigger.
Yeah, Gargantuan is.
It
It can't
said
move.
for the entangled mirror heart rose, which this is, the physical information is for the main body and not the whole building it may have taken over. So that's referring to the fact that it's slightly taller at 6'1" and slightly heavier at 83 pounds.
Wait, did you just say this one is 6 feet?
This one is 6
Gargantuan.
That's not a Gargantuan creature.
No, that's a medium.
I think that would probably be when it's consumed a house or something.
Is that an ability that it has?
I think that's kind of the point of it, from what it's doing, but I haven't.
There's nothing in the stat block that reflects that.
No. It also said it has a speed of 0 feet.
Yeah.
So are these all parts of the same entity or something?
Rapid growth of vines consuming them and their ex-house. So it's all to do with. So I don't think it's the creature themselves, but more so their vines. So something that's constantly growing out of those tendrils and stuff, but it's staying, like, especially with the heart there. How's its thing? Shall we talk scores?
Yeah.
Since Bryn has given his lump sum, shall we go through first with Connagh, with all of yours?
So starting from meta, I know I said the CR was about appropriate, but now considering everything in totality, I'm probably going to give it a 4 for the meta. Some of the actions are just a little off. Like some of the numbers seem right up the top, but then also this is an absolute pain to run for a DM. This is a creature that necessitates 2 battle maps, and I just don't see it being fun in that sense.
Yeah, I've also given it a 4 for very much the same reasons, and it's also a couple of things in its abilities that just don't seem to match up quite right. So the first one was if it had just been that first monster, it probably would have been higher. It's just the combination of them just doesn't add up, I suppose.
Okay, it's design.
For the design, I'm going to have to give it a 7. It very flavorfully captures what it's intending to do. And although it is a pain, like I said, and like with the Gargantuan one, there are things missing from that stat block, which is why I've knocked points off. Like its stat block reflects what it wants to do. It looks like a D&D monster. I can see myself facing it or using it. And all in all, it's well put together.
Yeah, I've gone with a 6 for very similar reasons. I do like the design. I think it would be really cool to try and apply. I think you might have to rework the abilities a little bit to make it actually feasible to play through with the 2 battle maps, as Connor said. But I do really like the theme of it, and it seems really cool.
Okay, and its quality?
My quality was higher, and then you showed the rest of them. My quality is going to be a 6, just because, like I said, it's well put together, but taken in totality with everything, it's just been scaled up, and I'd want to see something more out of different sort of variants of this and different parts of it, instead of just having the same abilities over and over again.
Yeah, I've gone with a 4 because from the stat blocks, I don't fully understand what all the different ones do. I don't fully get how they're different. There seems to be abilities that they have that are not in their stat block that are kind of crucial for understanding what they each do. And yeah, as Connor said, they don't seem to have scaled it interestingly. The first monster was unique and cool. All the rest of them were minorly tweaked versions of that. So
okay, and that puts us at 53.5, 0.5 above the Iron Angel, putting it in 4th. Only 3 left, guys. And I'd say that I'll try and get through them quicker, but it's kind of unfair to them if we do. So let's go on to the Arcadian Knight Errant. Okay. Boop.
Nice bit of art there.
Indeed. I just Yeah, I just realised that the chat this entire time, the text has been in white, and I've had a white background for a fair amount. So sorry to those watching it back. Okay, shall I read that? I feel like I should read that. The Court of Arcadia, Caldwell 2018, employs many strange fae in its ranks. One such fae is the Knight Errant, a weird mix of a stag beetle and a praying mantis. Standing typically the same hands, a full-grown horse. Does that make sense? Standing typically.
Horses are measured in hands.
Fair enough. Glad we had someone who knew that. Standing typically the same hands as a full-grown horse does. Knight Errants are a formidable creature, able to charge great distances and cut down its foes. They have a slimy carapace and a stronger set of arms, hefting a fey forged axe. They weigh surprisingly little for their size. Yeah, I reckon so. The most weight in their lower half. They are not often found within the boundaries of Feywild, as they crave adventure and quests worthy of the reveals of their home. Revels? I don't know. They glide across the skies of the mortal worlds to spot their next subjects. Often misguided and unable to see the truth of their actions, they interfere with mortal problems, beheading peasants and goring those before them, sowing terror and discord, even kidnapping damsels and scared children. The chaos these creatures inflict is so far removed from their eyes that see only gleeful solutions and valiant deeds with their blood-crazed frenzies. To themselves, they are dashing riders who seek out and help the vulnerable and weak mortals, but to others, they are a deadly incursion from the Feywild. Okay. No worries. I'm supposed to technically keep you anonymous, so I won't say who said that, but don't worry. Proofreading fun, but also really not, so I get it. Let's take this down to the next bit slightly.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
About what you would expect from Fae things. From the top. Ooh, Command Fae they haven't said the number of times.
It's at will, they have.
Oh yeah, they have. That literally means that they can do it out of battle. They can do it at any time, if I'm not mistaken.
It's unlimited.
Which is a bit, yeah.
It's DC 12.
Okay.
It is, but
if they can cast it every 6 seconds.
Oh, by the way, guys, to our wonderful chat, the ones who are still here, I have no clue what I'm doing in comparison to Bryn. So if I say things and they're wrong, you're welcome. There's a reason I was hosting it.
The innate spellcasting it has, I think, these limits, or just need to say at will. Oh yeah, it does say at will. That's my bad.
It does say at will.
My brain just blanked there. My apologies.
No worries. We've been going for quite a while.
What was the CR of this meant to be? 6.
Yes.
Let's pull up a CR6.
It doesn't seem too bad for CR6. It looks like an interesting enemy. I'd probably limit its dominate monster to say whatever its casting mod is times per short rest.
That's 1 then, because it casts off charisma.
In which case I'd probably give it a different limit than that. It's interesting that its casting mod is one of its lowest stats.
Yeah, I think that's to sort of capture its nature as a fae.
Yeah, true.
I don't really see how that's coming into its lore that they've put in.
Yeah, neither can I. I would prefer if it was maybe casting dominate monster off strength.
Yeah.
But it's positioning itself as it should be in control. You will listen to me now.
Well, we'd say that, but also it says they glide across the skies of the mortal world to spot their next subject, and also that people aren't exactly happy to see them. So potentially a massive increase to that DC, but making them able to do it a bit more would be a bit more appropriate to me.
Well, it's a very limited dominate monster is the thing as well. Like if there are any elves in your party, enjoy rolling a wisdom save every round. But otherwise, it's probably not going to be using it a lot.
No.
You can only target elves and other fae. So I guess if you're a satyr as well.
I like the armor. I think that's a cool set of abilities. It's nice and thematic. And I saw the attacks on this creature have disadvantage and immediately went, ooh, but only as opportunity attacks. That actually is quite interesting. Yeah,
it's like it's trying to move away, you take the swing, and it slides off as it has moved far enough out.
Yeah. I feel like the stat block has really solidly captured what they were describing. The only thing would be just reworking the spells a little bit with Dominate. But it seems like a really interesting enemy.
Yeah.
In that case, shall we go on to some meta scoring?
Yeah, just go back to the stat block for a sec.
Yeah.
Down. There we go. I feel Goring Charge could be a bit stronger.
Yeah.
But for the meta, I'd probably put it in at a 6 for the meta. Like the numbers are all good. They all seem fine. Like I think the 3 attacks is maybe a little high. I think it's normally 2, but the damage, because it's only 1d10, I think it's fine. Or it's option to attack and cast only on an ally. I think that precludes casting on itself. I might change that a little.
It does.
And then the Goring Charge you can reduce that 30 feet down to 10. 10's generally where charges start to you have to move before they're used. 30 is just too far.
I mean, it says up to 30 feet, so it seems to suggest that they can do it even at 0 feet.
I did not see that. You're quite right.
Yeah.
I'd probably, switch it to a minimum 10 feet, but no maximum.
Because that's how it's normally run. And then, that shouldn't be in the action block then, because it's a bonus action. It does go in a bonus action block, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, like a 6 is where this should be for the meta for me personally.
I've gone for a 7 for very similar reasons. I think this is really close to something that I would just like plug and play with. There's just a couple of little things that I think need to be tweaked slightly, but it does feel right for the CR. It does feel like they've got their abilities well leveled. Okay,
I wouldn't be taking over from Bryn if I didn't put in a 0.5. So I'm going right in between you two with a 6.5. You both made the points that I've kind of wanted to make on them. I'm not so fussed on Command Fey. I just think it could be done differently to a greater effect for the thematics of it, but that more comes down to the design, which we'll move on to. I'm going to call this design a 6. There was more that I wanted to see that like the stat block definitely puts across what you're kind of trying to get with it. But it for a challenge 6, I mean, you can do more interesting things that don't make it too strong, but really improve on the lore of it for me.
Yeah, I've gone for a 7. I really like the idea of this. I think that it's got a good amount of flavor in there, and it seems like it'd be really interesting to run. But I would like to see more of that flavor showing through. I'd want to see something slightly different with its spell casting. The Command Fey is a bit dodgy, but I'd maybe give it a couple of more limited use innate spells just to give it some more of that vibe that seems to be coming with it. But yeah, I actually really like this.
I agree with all of Rowan's points here, but I'm gonna be a bit harsher. I'm gonna give it a 6. Like there's a lot of flavor here. It's really nice. Like the flavor about it, it's messing up in the prime material plane and like not understanding those. You can't really capture that in the stat block, and that's fine. But yeah, I think this Command Fey ability is really the kicker of sort of what's hurting it a lot. I just don't think it should be on charisma.
Okay. For quality, I'm going to plot this. I'm trying to stick with where Bryn was going. I obviously don't know how exactly he was scoring things, but I think this is probably right in between the insects and the doggo and goose for me. I think this is a 5. There are inconsistencies and little things that just chew away at the good stuff that's there.
Yeah, I'm also going to give it a 5. It's just those little things that just sort of keep stacking up. A little bit more proofreading would be obviously perfect. And yeah, it's just bits of the stat block aren't fully correct. And also, like this is more me being quite nitpicky, but this description is written very weirdly.
Yeah.
Like, you could just say they are the size of a horse.
Yeah. I've given it a 6. I think that you could probably cut down a lot of that description and get the same essence through, like Connagh has said. I do think that it has some quite solid things that have come through quite well on the stat block. But again, the little things have added up a bit too much.
Okay, and that places it at the same place in joint third as the Scourge Wing. One day I'll be able to say that confidently. Yeah, that is where it's placed. Moving on to the Necrocodile. Oh, gotta scroll down quickly to make sure that the name is not shown. And let's
I like that.
double. Okay. Let's hope we can get that shown.
That is the crocodile.
That is some spectacular Photoshop.
Yeah. No, don't show the name. I just wanna show the bit where it says yes. It is a necromancy crocodile pun.
Yeah.
I already like this.
And this is enough for me to talk through too. Thanks, guys. We've had quite a few that have been just about enough for me to read through. Long ago, in the swamps of Abandon, lived an incredibly old, incredibly powerful druidic lich by the name of Agrolin the Vile. While several rumours spread amongst local townsfolk of his past, no one could be certain of their truth. Over time, it was understood that pursuing understanding of the enigmatic lich was a fruitless and perilous task, and it was for the best of those who resided nearby to simply avoid the areas which Agrolin felt were his own, or make peace with the consequences. This lesson was not learnt, however, by observing what had happened to those who had met the reclusive lich himself. Unfortunate outsiders who found themselves in that position would not live to tell the tale. No, the few locals who made it out of that place alive were those who had encounters with Agrolin's creatures, the monsters he had created to guard his land and keep him company. The most notorious of these was nicknamed the Necrocodile by Abandon locals, who learned to recognize it by its dark hide and glowing silver eyes, which reportedly had strange magical properties. And
nice description.
Can I zoom out very slightly? I can. It was a wonderful description.
Yeah.
Flowed very
It's
nicely.
like the perfect amount of detail.
Absolutely. Can I get this just in frame? Is that seeable? Kinda. It's kinda
I can read it.
Let's try for that. And then that barely changed anything. So we're looking at a CR7.
Yeah. Fine.
Oh, that's interesting. Inverse pack tactics.
Yeah. Also with the AC boost.
I like that.
That is very unique in the design.
It's incredibly unique. I literally just had to Google what solitary meant, just in case I was like there were two definitions that I wasn't sure about. So technically stronger on its own. Oh wait, definitely because of solitary hunter.
Yeah. Like if this gets in with something else, with an ally, it's terrible. Let's your save.
Ooh. Mm.
Mortal Glare makes it the CR7.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, and it's the correct. Yeah, it's
It's got
written
the Medusa
correctly.
stuff in there.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
like that it's a
definitely.
charisma save. I'd prefer it to be a Constitution save.
Yeah.
But strength being the casting stat makes sense as well.
Mm.
Which, like, with strength being the casting stat, charisma makes sense. It's like you look at this thing, you see how overwhelmed you are, but then obviously it's also it's changed. It blinds you, it deafens you. You can't breathe.
If I was running this, then I would be putting that in con just because of how I personally consider con to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can also see why it was written as charisma. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to dock
I
it
think
much
that's
for
like
that.
I think that's a flip of a coin and dependent on the DM there. I think I probably would have put it at CR7. Sorry, CR8.
Yeah, just a bit more. Those attacks are a bit.
Yeah. Getting that multi-attack puts it above. If it didn't have multi-attack, I would have it at CR7. But because it can do 2 of those, which is the extra damage as well as the Mortal Glare, that's putting it up to starting to get that field spread.
Yeah, it looks like it can do a lot of damage in a turn.
Okay, that's just a quality issue there. I'm just looking. The DC for Mortal Glare and Tail is different, which it shouldn't be. Like, there's no way to get up to a DC 16 with this thing.
No.
Like, that should be 15. Same with the breath weapon. Like, its casting stat is strength across the board.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And death roll.
Yeah, the bite DC, escape DC is 16 as well.
Yeah. Okay, I think I'm good to go. I think this is too strong for what it's made out to be. I really like all of the abilities on there matching the descriptions of it, but it's way too strong. It's got a fair number of resistances that also put it up there, and it's large. You're not being able to run about it more to be able to get away from all of the different things it can do. I think I'm going to put this at a 5.
I've given it a 6 on the meta. I do think it's quite good in general. I like the abilities and everything. But yeah, there's those inconsistencies in there, and it just, the CR does not match the damage and things it can do. So I'd say either tone down the attacks or tone up the CR.
I think it's probably either that immediately goes up to CR8 or you turn down 2 things that it's got.
Yeah.
I'm also going to give it a 6 on the meta. Like you said, up to CR8. The thing that hurts it is it will always be losing action economy because it's best alone.
Yeah,
it's very true.
Yeah, like these numbers need shifting for that CR.
That's sad. Being like when solitary is fairly up to the DM's discretion. If it's solitary by definition of solitary hunter, then it's literally only when you're within 5 feet of an ally. So it would always have 17 as long as you're not doing that.
Yeah. So it's possible that you could have multiple that just kind of put up with each other at a distance.
Just unallied, they are of different not alignments, like different parties.
That,
it can be
that's going to
abused.
design, so.
Okay. Shall we go with that? Do you wanna start?
Yeah. So off for the design, like I'm giving this an 8 for the design. It captures what it's meant to be very well all around. And with the solitary hunter, like I do agree that it's a bit weird, but having this be the creation of a lich, and like this thing fights you in the front while the lich sits back and throws spells at you is terrifying.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it flavorfully captures what it meant to be, and that's a monstrous crocodile that a lich made.
I've also given it an 8. I really like the themes in this. It does feel like the chaotic invention of a druidic lich. I think the description really works for it because you don't get much about the necrocodile. You get a lot about its creator, and actually that's the most defining thing about this is what made it so horrifying. And the abilities really match that. Much like with issues we've seen with similar things to Mortal Glare, they've actually got it with all the abilities now to make it feasible and give it the interesting characteristics in combat. So I think this is a really cool thematic monster.
I think I agree with you. I'm going to. I mean, it's Bryn's voting. I'm going to put a 0.5 in there for a 7.5. I'm just looking down the list of what he's put in as 7s and 8s and 7.5s. I reckon this is around about as well themed as the Gareth. You've basically said what I wanted to say with that. As for its quality, there are issues that would absolutely need to be changed because they don't make sense mechanically, and there are also issues that they're there on the overall stuff. I'm going to put this down as a 5.
I've gone a bit higher with a 7. I think a lot of detail and care has been put into this. I do agree that it's mechanically a little bit funky, but I think as one page to have thrown at you as a DM about monster, you get the details you need to run this quite well.
Okay, I'm gonna go with a 6 for the quality here. Like all the formatting is good and correct for the most part. There's little inconsistencies, like I said, in the DC and in the damages. Like the death roll, it's apparently maximized the damage you take from the necrotic there. Yeah. And also, it's very complex. Like there's a lot of detail. I can see a DM forgetting things.
I would have to read through Mortal Glare at least 4 times.
I mean, the breath weapon makes you make 2 saving throws as well.
Yeah, I think the breath weapon I'd probably change.
Yeah,
overall, that puts this just into second place with a 58.5, and it was a pun.
Got a little pun.
I think what Bryn said earlier, like this is a monster that is quote unquote funny, but it's still made well.
Yeah.
Like the name is just a pun, and that's the entirety of the joke. The rest of it is this is a terrifying creature. This is a monstrosity.
Yeah, I think gimmicky monsters are like gimmicky PCs. You can have one, but don't run it too hard, otherwise it just gets annoying.
Yeah, don't make the gimmick the entire thing.
We have come to our final, I almost said Pokemon, our final monster, I mean I still did, of the evening, and I didn't download it apparently. Where is it?
Oof.
No. If I didn't download it, there's got to be some form of issue that I should have known about. Is it this one? No.
I assume this is a Modron fan that produced this.
Everyone loves a Modron.
Is it? Here it is. Let's not do that. Let's download it properly. Could have sworn I did. Either way, plop it along to here. Open up that. Zoom in on first off the. Oh wait, I can't. Let's go over to the art. It's an adorable little thing. It's very adorable.
I love it already.
Are there any down below? No. Cool. We've just got a full description, which is wonderful.
Like an ooze crossed with a Modron.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what it is.
It is an ooze.
It is. Let's double.
It has variant abilities as well.
That's
very nice. That's points.
Yeah. We do have description-y things. I don't think I'll read it. There seems to be a fair amount there. So let's go straight to the stat block. I'll read out this little bit to the side as we're looking through. So, variant of the slime network. Some polydrones have the ability to subjugate lesser modrons. Such polydrones gain the slime network trait. The polydrone is able to control up to 3 modrons. To exert control, the polydrone must be able to touch the modron, and for the modron to be of a rank below the quadron. The polydrone can then use its action to coat a modron in its slime. Affected modrons lose their axiomatic mind trait and fiercely defend the polydrone. Such modrons regain the axiomatic mind trait if they are 1 mile away from the polydrone, or the instant the polydrone is killed. The freed modrons will then return to whatever they were doing before being enslaved.
Okay, for reference, for everyone watching, the axiomatic mind trait simply means that a modron can't be compelled to act in a manner contrary to its nature or its instructions.
Interesting.
Relatively low health for CR10.
I thought that too, and then I looked at the stat block, and this is a cinematic clockwork ability.
Oh yeah.
Oof.
God damn.
Yikes.
So don't try and caltrop this.
No.
I do like that the cinematic clockwork doesn't give it health.
Yeah.
So it only gives AC.
Yeah.
So it's not going to get too tough.
It's only a healing mechanic, not a boosting mechanic.
Yeah. It doesn't say what it takes to destroy the absorbed metal, though. Like, do you have to be targeting? Do you have to hit the polydrone, but be targeting the metal?
I think it says they have to specifically attack it.
Yeah.
So I think you have to say, I'm going to hit the metal.
Yeah, it's weird though then that it's once a turn. You can't just unload all your attacks into the polydrone at the metal.
Yeah, that is a bit funky. I would have
at this point, you're assuming that you can do 10 damage to something in 1 turn, really. For a CR10.
Yeah. I probably would have had it that any attack that deals more than 10 in 1 swipe would probably do it.
I mean, it's absolutely something that one of my characters would do to fail that, but generally you could probably get that done, especially if you're a frontliner.
I think the only thing is it doesn't say that they actually take that damage. I think it's just the metal takes that damage and the AC is removed. So it doesn't actually seem to suggest that the polydrone is
definitely
losing any health from it.
Fine.
Any excess damage is not dealt to the polydrone, which means that it doesn't get damaged by the initial thing, I believe. Yeah, it's only the metal.
I mean, that does sound like it would be really interesting to see run in combat, especially if you stick them in a room full of cogs. Just like, how do I get rid of all of these in the next 6 seconds?
Yeah. But I mean, I think it's likely that you might not deal 10 damage to it in one attack. Because if you as a frontliner, you're going to be swinging maybe 1d8, 1d10 plus 4 or 5, like assuming no magical items or whatever. So like you can very well not deal 10 damage without burning some resources on this. Whereas if you compare it to things that swallow you, the damage threshold is from a single turn, so you can pump multiple attacks into it.
Yeah.
I don't like that this restricts you to once a turn being able to attack them. Like I'm attacking the creature. I feel I should just be able to attack parts of the creature on my turn as much as I can.
It may be that there's a thematic reason down below, in which case it's fine. But as it is, if it isn't for that reason, then yeah, I definitely agree.
I also appreciate the fact that I can see on the monster it's been drawn on lined paper.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really, really good.
It is. I also like that they've layered it over the actual stat block. It's given it that professionalistic style of depth.
Yeah.
Difficult terrain is... Oh, wait, 5 foot radius circle. 5 foot raid to... Ooh.
Yes, it's you and the 8 tiles around you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's only those that start their turn on it that have the speed reduction as well. Although that's kind of doing double damage at that point. You both have difficult terrain, which halves your speed, and then you have it reduced by 10 if you fail a save if you start there.
Yeah, so if you start your turn, you fail the save there. I mean, you are in difficult terrain for that, but yeah, you're at 20 feet probably, and then it's difficult terrain, so moving the 5 feet out is all your movement for that turn.
I actually think that balances quite nicely.
Yeah, because like the damage isn't...
The damage is not outrageous whatsoever.
No, it feels like a control monster more than anything, which I quite like. It looks like it's not necessarily going to be a massively hard combat, but a really interesting one.
Yeah, like it becomes hard when it's full, and like the room is full of this metal that it just sucks up, and suddenly that 15 AC goes up to 20 or higher.
Yeah, no, I'd be really interested in seeing how PCs figure out a way to deal with it that isn't a hitty method, because there's not a huge amount of point if it can just regain health and buff AC every time.
Yeah,
I'd like there to be something up here about the like there is the clockwork, but also there's a big thing here about being able to control up to 3 modrons. To me, that should absolutely be here as a...
That's a variant thing. So there's 2 types of them. This is the base type. That's the variant type.
I missed that, yeah.
Yeah.
And I will zoom out very slightly and let the thing sit on here for a while.
Yeah, like this law makes sense.
Definitely.
Like, oh no, Modron's got lost in the abyss. Jubilex has corrupted them. I can see it happening. I mean, we have like rogue Modrons.
And I really do like the line of the acidic nature of the slime within causes an assimilated metal to weaken and become vulnerable. Because I feel like that's a lot of the time when people are talking poison, acid, the difference between the two, and they're talking about things that are dealing with metal, they're never talking about how acid would tear through a metal in some form, whether it's weak or strong.
Yeah,
it will affect the metal, and I like how that's being talked about.
They are some chunky boys.
Yeah, let's scroll down a little bit.
Just nice little help.
That is very nice. We also thank the anonymous friend for proofreading.
It's important to have an anonymous friend.
It is. And also important to proofread.
Yeah.
I really like this one.
I do as well.
This is very strong. This could put up a challenge to who was it? To Gareth.
Yeah, like Gareth, this is not a creature that's strong just off the stat block. It's strong off of. It's an interesting fight to run and to fight in.
Absolutely. I could see myself being absorbed for a good hour or two, just thinking, okay, how can I make this go into a nice place for my players to have an interesting battle.
Mm-hmm.
I think meta. I'll start us off. Why not? This is near perfect to me. I see very few problems, and it feels like a CR10 to me. Especially if you're putting it in a place with a lot of metal. You can, like, this is a creature that you can scale its difficulty based on where you put it, and I love that. Not just like a night or day kind of thing, but I'm putting it as a 9.
I've also put it as a 9. The only thing that I would change would be fiddling with the assimilating clockwork. But that's just some minor tweaking. Otherwise, it feels appropriate for its level, and it does just seem really solid.
Yeah, I'm going to be the mean one again. I'm giving this an 8. Like you said, it is near perfect. But like Rowan said, the assimilating clockwork needs tweaking. And the actions are just a bit too weak, I feel, for a CR10. Like, assimilating clockwork makes it a long fight, not a hard fight.
Very true.
Even if it just had multi-attack, I feel that'd be better. But one action around from this thing is a bit rough, especially since it controlling Modrons is a variant, not the base.
Yeah, I put that kind of consideration into quality when I probably should have put it into meta, but I can't change what I've put now. Design-wise, Rowan, what are you thinking?
I really like the design. I think it's really cool. I like the thematics of it. Its abilities are unusual and really interesting. And anything that makes a non-hitty combat, I'm a fan of. So I have given this an 8.
Okay. Connagh, what are you thinking?
I'm giving it a 9 for design. Like Rowan said, I love the thematics of this. They're reflected well in the stat block. From the lore, like I can, like, looking at it, I immediately knew what it was. And the lore made sense with that. I think the only thing really it's missing for me on the design is sort of that standard ooze ability to move into other creatures' space and subsume them. And I didn't see that in the stat block. Like, maybe that's because it's full of metal. If I could speak to the creator, like I would find that out. But for me, that's sort of what I'd expect out of an ooze. I'd expect it to be able to consume more than just bits of metal.
I can see that. This wouldn't be a Bryn assessment without a 0.5. I'm going to slap bang in the middle of you with an 8.5. Yeah, you've both said it all.
Your mate is playing Middle Earth Shadow of War.
Whoa. Cool. Thanks, Steam. I didn't turn that off. I never think to turn it off. Because I never look in that corner of my PC. Anyway.
You're such a professional.
I am. I really am. quality. We've got the final 3 scores to give. Connagh, lead us away.
Quality, it's going to be an 8 for me. Everything's well put together. It's well formatted. Like assimilating clockwork once again is the thing that brings it down. Other than that, generally, like it's very, very solid. It's not quite there for 9. Just because it's little things like that and like slightly on the wording of Guzuka, but it's up there for sure.
I've also given it an 8. I think it's really well done. I think that the detail is just enough for the outside information. I like that they've given it a variant version, because that means that you can have a couple of different types in combat, and that'd be really interesting. And yeah, the only things where it falls flat is just a bit of the wording in the stat blocks. And I don't want to keep ragging on assimilating clockwork, but that's the main thing that is taking it down.
Yeah, I've given it a 7 because, like I said, I put some things that probably should have been in meta into quality. Can't change it now. But it's the same things once again. And that ends our competition. In the lead by 2 points, 74.5. Wow,
there we go.
We did it. And it only took about 25 minutes longer than we were expecting.
That's pretty solid.
Well, what I told you guys we were expecting.
We did a 2-minute break as well.
We did. That's true.
Yeah, I was expecting to go till 8, to be honest.
That's really, yeah. Well done, us. We didn't run over much. What are our highlights? If people are actually still watching, which I think they are from our 8 viewers. We're definitely going to be releasing that straw poll, and I may actually extend its deadline so that we can get permission from all. Should we just put out all of the creations? I don't think.
I think that if they were willing for us to stream them, they're probably happy with us.
Yeah,
agreed. So the straw poll will go up on the Discord. I will also put it. Yes, I will. I will put it in chat because that seems like a nice thing to do, especially for all you people who stuck around so long.
Oh, I just realised we can see the creator's name every time you move across the screen.
What?
It pops up with who the submission was by for the polydrone.
Oh, agreed. Let's get rid of that.
It's fine. I don't know anyone's
well,
real
it's
names,
a good thing
so.
that these guys are all impartial.
I don't know people's names. I hardly know your guys' names.
Who am I judging with again?
There is the. Oh, that's interesting.
That's a lot of. Why is there a comma in the middle of that?
I don't know.
That's a lot of commas.
It really is. Either way.
Yeah, no, it doesn't work.
There's the. Wait, it doesn't.
It doesn't work.
Okay.
I just clicked it. Oh, but if you copy paste it does.
It did for me. The link worked for me. Let's read.
Yeah, when I just click it, it asks me to create a poll. If I copy paste the entire thing, it will actually work.
Let's try it there. Oh wait.
Although wait, no, you've given us the editing thing. This is to create the poll.
Oh, I'm dumb. Okay, let's ignore them. Uh-oh.
Professional streamer.
Professional streamer.
That link doesn't work.
It's probably because I haven't actually opened the. Oh yeah.
That'd be a good thing to do.
That would also require it to work. Let's try it like this. Boop into boop. Okay, guys, looks like I'm making a new straw poll.
Solid.
Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
I mean, hey, you can copy paste your link and publish that one.
I can't, because I can't open it. What was your favorite monster? I tested it yesterday. It worked.
Mm.
Oh well. What was my favorite monster? Could it have been the Corinthal? Or potentially, no, I know 2 options are required. The Scourge Wing.
I mean, while we are here,
even the Heckin' Chonkers and Quonk.
well, while we're here waiting for Dom to put this out, Rowan, like ignoring the scores that have been like collectively made, what was your favorite monster?
What was my favorite monster? I actually really liked the idea of the Arcadian knight errants thing. I thought that was quite good, but I actually think it does have to be either between the polydrone and the necrocodile. And that's not just recency bias. I think that the necrocodile would be something I'd very happily throw into a campaign, especially with a lich. And actually, I do have a campaign that I'm running tonight that has a lich in it, so that might be used. But the polydrone just seems really interesting. I'm not sure where I would throw it in, but it's a sort of monster where I want to make the set of circumstances to bring that monster in. Because I just think it'd be really good. Not necessarily for the crew I'm running for tonight, because they have never met any entity they can't just stab, regardless of how many times I punish them for it. But for the right crew, that'd be a really interesting monster. What about for you, Connor? What has been your favourite?
So
there we go.
For an actual usable monster, it would be the Galrath. I really love those kind of monsters that, like you said, fights that aren't just stab it, but also I like intelligent monsters. I like running them intelligently, and different styles of a fight. Like what I said, like a doppelganger, the oblex, these things that you can throw in that make the fight against the monster not just the combat, it's everything around it. And if anyone's ever seen like the False Hydra, I love that kind of paranoia that you can put on a party.
Yeah, I think that would slot in really well in a Curse of Strahd campaign.
Yeah.
Which I am also running. So thank you to everyone who submitted, because you've given me a lot of good things to torture my players with.
For something I just throw in, like for an NPC to have, I would absolutely throw in the Heckin' Chonkeries. I wouldn't use that stat block.
No,
but
I'd keep.
I was going to say the same about the Insectum. If those were all made properly, I think it would be an incredibly interesting thing to even base a whole campaign around.
Yeah,
I'm kind
just
of
the
getting
investigation
like those
of these insects.
Like when you go into the Skyrim Dwarven ruins, if you had something set up kind of like that, but with those insects re-stat blocked, I would think that'd be a really cool adventure.
Yeah. Galrath takes the cake for me, though. There's no other here that struck me quite as it did.
I want the creator to submit that to the SCP Foundation's site, because it is so appropriate.
It is brilliant. In fact, that is, I'll say it publicly, that is what I will be entering as my personal straw poll favourite monster submission. Looks like it's ahead currently, but obviously there's plenty of time to go, and I will be putting it in the Discord after we're finished. But yeah, it just got those vibes.
Yeah.
Does anyone? Oh, of course. I should probably hype up the fact that Polydrone's won a bit more. Congratulations to the creator of Polydrone and their anonymous proofreader. You are the winner of a set of dice. We will contact you about them, as well as contacting you about what charity you'd like to be supported for our charity live stream, which is in 2 weeks' time-ish, a bit less.
Week and a half.
A week and a half. Is there much else to say? The winner of the straw poll will also be receiving a set of dice. So it's not completely over quite yet. But congratulations very much, and also commiserations to the rest of the entries. They were all wonderful, apart from the ones that were less wonderful than the ones that were more wonderful, as shown by the points. But really, thank you so much for putting the time in to get these to us. It's a lot of hard work and grit to get to this, and we're very thankful for it.
Yeah, there was some amazing ideas in there that were really inspiring for any of my own homebrew creations. So thank you so much for submitting them.
And also, like I told the creator of Heckin' Chonkers and Quonk, and also Cars's Insectum, if there is interest in it, I will happily run a either a monster creation or a stat block creation, etc., etc. Workshop if people want it.
I'd be happy to help that too.
Yeah, if you, I'll put it in the announcement for the end of the stream. But if you want it, shout at me. If not, then I'll just teach the creator of Heckin' Chonkers and Quonk. I have to keep saying it because I'm finally getting it right. And Cal's Insectum themselves, and I've already confirmed that they're a male himself. But if not, then I'll do it for everyone. Yay!
Yeah, I just want to echo those sentiments. Like, every idea here was good, and for the most part, the ones with the lower scores have those lower scores solely because the idea you were going for wasn't realized as well within the bounds of D&D 5e.
Absolutely.
Like, with work, they can all be fully functional and good monsters and creations. Like, don't let a lower score discourage you.
Apart from Heckin' Chonkers and Quonk, every single thing here could probably be seen in some form in the Monster Manual.
Definitely.
Or an extended version. DLC, you might say. But anyway, we've gone on long enough. We'll contact the creator of Polydrone. Thank you ever so much for sticking with us all this way. If you're watching after the fact, apologies for you not getting a say in the public vote, but you should have watched us. Just saying. Either way, thanks for watching. I've been Dom. We've had Bryn, Rowan, and Connagh here to judge with us. Bye-bye.